Hello nerd friends. How is everyone doing? How is everyone? Just a second. थोड़ा सा forgot something. भाई भाई just a second friendos. ए पीछे के लाइटिंग में प्रॉब्लम हो गया फ्रेंड्स आज. कोई ना. We'll just do with red light today. My Yes. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hello. How is everyone doing today? Hello. How is everyone doing? Hello. Um. So today is Monday. It is 9:58. I started an hour late. I know. I had something happening at home. But today we are going to do an intense deep dive stream on Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and it is going to be intense. The reason is that there have been I counted eight, there might be more, eight nerd friends plus a few more who have been working on this for 4 days at least. And they have made a very, very wonderful document, which I have also added to later. And we are going to go through it. Let me just show you the document first, okay? So this was a document that we started working on, and it was full of things. As you can see, it is still full of things. So it has now been sorted also. And thank you so much. Special shout out to Antsy Woman and Trish and Aitas for sorting this out. It has photos, it has everything in it. So we are going to go through this mm, timeline essentially of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and his life. This is the life and times of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about what he believed in, his ideology, his fights with Gandhi, his views on Pakistan and Islam, and also why the Congress hated him so much afterwards and how they mistreated him. And it's a very interesting story. So it is an interesting story. He's a I mean, honestly, the more I read about Dr. Ambedkar, the more I read things written by him, my admiration for him keeps growing. And this is exactly what happened with me in the last few days, also, where I had to go through so many things again that I was like, this guy, mm-hmm, this guy, mm-hmm, what a guy. Seriously, what a guy. So by the end of this stream, I think you will also have that sort of reaction. That is my attempt today. Okay, friendos, hi. So this is a deep dive stream. If you are new to my channel, hello, this is Meghnad, and I am a political commentator. I do content around politics, society, etc. Videos and live streams. Right now, if you're not watching this live, you're watching it later. Hello to you as well. So, welcome to my channel. Please do consider subscribing. Yeah. And to people who are watching right now, please do like this. Like it. Like it. Like it. The man, the not myth, the legend. Yes, absolutely. Guys, here's the thing, being completely open about this, where I'm coming from, where chat is coming from, whatever it is, I'm going to give you a few disclaimers first, right? दे रहा हूँ डिस्क्लेमर. पहले थोड़ा चैट से वार्तालाप कर ले, फिर थोड़े से डिस्क्लेमर्स देंगे. Love democracy IRL. Arey, thank you, Nilesh. Thank you. Much appreciated. And Nilesh was there. There were so many people there. Guys, final show, Delhi show, best show ever. Seriously. And it has now been recorded. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try and see if it's good enough to put out a few parts on the channel. So soon you will be seeing some clips from the show. So yeah, hopefully this week only you will see one. So let's see. देखते हैं. Change in lighting looks cool. Rohan, so the thing is, my projector conked right before the stream for some reason, and I don't have time to troubleshoot right now. That's that. This light is always there. You don't see it because I try to blend in the projector and this light together. Like this one is usually like this. See? Now you can't tell. Delhi show best. Yes. Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim indeed. His statues are the most vandalized statues in India. He's the most abused leader, but still his undaunted legacy lives on. Jai Bhim. Absolutely. Vishaka, I hear you, and I think after this stream, I don't know, but a lot of your respect for him, I think, will go up. Because the man was a walking, talking, uh, anti-establishment crazy person. And I don't mean this in a bad way, okay? I'm a big admirer of being anti-establishment, and Dr. Ambedkar took it to the next level. To put it simply, we are like common people who like normies. Honestly, I'm a normie who says, "Oh, I'm anti-establishment. I talk against the government on the internet and all the things." Dr. Ambedkar took on the real establishment. He took on the caste system. That is next level anti-establishment. He's like, don't give a shit about the government. Surface level पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Look at the deeper shit. Look at the real establishment, the Brahmins. Look at them. Yeah, reform that, will you? And people were like, uncomfortable. He made a lot of people uncomfortable. Yeah, including me also sometimes. And I think I will make you uncomfortable also through him. It's a feeling that a lot of people get, okay, after reading Ambedkar. It's true. You're an Ambedkarite and you will like your take on his work. Absolutely. I hope I don't disappoint you, friends. Life should be great rather than long. Yeah. The sheer guts of the legend, I recommend everyone to read Annihilation of Caste. Absolutely, Swastik. Again, there is something about Annihilation of Caste also. How it was written. There is an entire story behind it also. So, okay. Without further ado, friends, I'm going to start because there is so much to cover today. I am going to just start, okay? If you don't mind. We will keep chatting, of course, once in a while. But this is essentially going to be a collection of stories about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, which I hope will give you like an insight into his thoughts, his ideology, his process, and why he is such a legend, honestly. So, intro mere liye. We are going to go through his timeline. So it's the same timeline I took from the document, but I have added my own notes and all the things after that. So, and edited a bunch of things. So that is there. And yeah, so everything is in there. Everything is in there. All the things. And there are a few videos. Like, for example, there is this movie which I haven't seen completely. But this is the movie that is going to play in the background today. Like last time we played a Savarkar movie in the background. This is the movie that will play in the background when we are talking about Dr. Ambedkar. Yeah. This is a movie which is uploaded on Siddhartha Chumbakeshwar. It is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. The movie is called Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. It stars Mammootty. Yes. I was very surprised when I saw that Mammootty is in this. But yeah, it's a very interesting movie. थोड़ा सा exaggeration है, obviously, cinema है. But more or less, from whatever I've seen, I've seen half of it. Whatever I've seen, it does match the timeline a lot, actually. So if you want to watch something, you can go watch this movie also. It's an old movie. Sound is bad. थोड़ा सा exaggerated है. There is a whole love story that they show also in the middle because Indian movies. There are songs in this. There are songs in this. So why can't our filmmakers not do that? But ठीक है यार, मतलब it's okay. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Okay. And we are going to look at one more thing which kind of blew my mind, which is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar absolutely, how to put it politely, criticizing Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to BBC. Criticizing. You know what I mean. There is this one section in this where he's just, oh my god, he destroys him. Basically, one line I will tell you to tell you what it was is like, ki when I met Gandhi, his fangs came out and I could see the real him. I'm like, yes, Ambedkar, yes, let it loose, friend, yes. But yeah, so we are going to look at that, but that will be in the end. First, we are going through his laugh and terms. Okay. So chat, are you excited? Are you excited? If you are excited, please say hi. Okay. And please keep the chat active. I'll be reading it. I will be talking to you constantly as usual. Don't worry. This is a highly interactive thing, of course. Yes, many people who are there. Oh, yes. I can see it. I can see it. Yes. Okay. Also, to the nerd friends who have worked on this, I really hope I can do justice to your work. I'm gonna try. Okay. Let's begin. First, some disclaimers. Let's start with history first. Okay. History is just multiple interpretations. Yeah. There are events that happen. Yeah. Events that happen which are set in stone. Those are events that happen. But the people who are seeing those events and describing it and documenting it, etc., all have biases. They are narratives. All of them. All. Okay. So there is no absolute history. There will always be different histories from different perspectives. I'm giving this disclaimer very clearly because today we are talking about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had very polarizing opinions, and therefore history has not been kind to him, or history has done the other thing, which is deified him. So, two types of people who have written about him, right? What we are trying to do here is we are trying to treat him like a character. He's a character who existed in a time, in a place, who did certain things which affect us today. So we are going to look at this character as a grey character, right? All the opinions that I give about Dr. Ambedkar are my opinions here, right? And they are also biased. I must tell you, they are also biased. So past is static, history is interpretation, right? All works of history are sort of like interim reports, right? So essentially, Dr. Ambedkar, the time he lived, which is from 1891 onwards till 1950s, it is basically, if you document every day of his life as a journalist, that would be the first draft. So, or if you take his letters that he is writing and then reporting on them, that will still be the first draft, but then that will always be layered by his opinion and then your interpretation of it, and therefore that will become that form of history. Okay, so what we are going to talk about is a whole lot of letters, documents, court stuff, lots of stuff, friends. बहुत पढ़ा है. मैं दिखाऊंगा अभी कुछ documents. It's crazy. So all of these things, so interpretation. Okay, clear? Okay, yeah. And you have to realize उस time पे internet नहीं था, friends. I hope you know that there was no internet. Telegram था. So these people wrote a lot. Like a lot. They wrote a lot of letters to each other, like constantly. It basically, that was their tweeting. They would get up in the morning, they would write a letter to someone, then the British people, then Gandhi, then this person, then that person, and then UN को भी एक भेज देते हैं, then old professor को hi बोलते हैं, then like whatever, and that is one day done. Then you go to work. or do whatever. It's insane. Okay, so there are many letters which say many things. There are also many books in this case. He has written extensively. He was a very prolific writer. So his thoughts have evolved over time also. Sometimes it feels like he contradicts his old self as well. Okay, just telling you that. Okay, right. Fourth, we have a tendency to either deify or demonize historical figures, including Dr. Ambedkar. I have to say this, right? Again, he had an insane amount of contribution to the cause of social justice, to the cause of the constitution, making the constitution, to discourse, to political understanding, to atheism, to so many other things. Social structures, power structures, so many he has written. Economics, why he wrote a lot on economics also. So he has basically had a lot of contribution through his work in all of these things. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but at the same time, I am also not going to try and deify him for this. I'm going to try, right? I admire the man. I don't want to turn him into a god, because I feel like he had flaws and we should be able to talk about him, because I think that just makes him more interesting. You think that your godly deified historical figures have no flaws? That is not true. They're human beings. They will have flaws, and honestly, all his flaws make him even better. I think that has to be said. The other side of the thing is people tend to demonize him for obviously reasons of caste, reservation. I don't know what else. The people tend to demonize him also. Let's not do that either. So the person you demonize is not all evil then. He also did some good things. Okay, so we are going to try not to do that. Again, have to give this disclaimer. So, I personally think that the man is kick-ass. I think so. I genuinely think so. But here's the thing. Full disclosure, I'm a Brahmin. I'm a Brahmin talking about a man who is admired by DBA community and I mean just widely, but primarily the depressed classes, as he called it back then, not anymore. He was a big leader to them, and he basically fought for their cause, and that is why they have deified him. I understand that. Growing up, I was not given much information about Dr. Ambedkar, honestly speaking. He's from my state. I am extremely proud that he's from my state. He wrote in Marathi. Mooknayak was in Marathi. He's my Marathi Manus also. But at the same time, in my family or in my circle, Savarkar would be the one who people would talk about more, or Tilak or someone else, not Ambedkar, unfortunately. And also unfortunate because I come from Nagpur. Nagpur is a very, very significant place in his life and for a lot of people towards the end of Dr. Ambedkar's life. I come from that place. I basically got very, very schooled somewhere around 2013, 2014 on my views on caste and reservation. I was coming from that mindset, which is, oh, reservations bad mindset, which is very surface level, anecdotal, bullshit reasoning and rationale. I got schooled by many people. They literally sat me down and suggested that I should read more, I should talk to more people. I honestly, it was not their burden to do it, but they did it anyway. Since then, I have been reading things about and from Ambedkar on and off. I read Annihilation of Caste back then. Since then, I have read many other books as well, which have helped me understand the causes that he stood for better. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I do not want to claim that. So just telling you right at the outset, I come from a very different place in life. So my analysis of what he does will lack that sensitivity sometimes because I don't have those lived experiences either. I'm trying to be empathetic. I will try to be fair. But in case I'm not, please call me out. I'm not saying you let me go. Just call me out. Uki. Uki. Yeah. Anything else I wanted to give disclaimers on? Oh, yeah, one more thing. Sorry. Do not judge past characters' actions and connect it to the current political environment. Do not do that. That is a mistake. That will not work. That time was different. This time is different. You can take the ideas and try to learn from them, but do not apply the same logic that, let's say, an Ambedkar was using, or a Gandhi was using, or anybody else was using during that time to current day. Just don't do it. Just as a bottom line. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm done with the disclaimers. All right. All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye. Aye to disclaimers, I guess. जल्दी शुरू कर, पनवेल निकलना है. ये जल्दी नहीं होने वाला है फ्रेंड, बहुत टाइम लगने वाला है, टेंशन मत लो. Yes, yes. Okay. Fair, fair. I hope we have an understanding now, chat. Okay. Right. Let us begin. Let us put the movie on in the background also. Ideology idealize कर लो, don't idealize the person. Yup. Okay. So, the year is 1891. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar is born in Mao, and he is the 14th and last child of Ramji Maloji Sakpal and Bhimabai. 14th child, okay, 1891. Now what I have done here, friends, to give you a little more context, I have calculated his age, because I think if you imagine him as a 22-year-old doing things and a 32-year-old doing things and a 50-year-old doing things, it puts things in perspective. So this is age 0 we are starting with, okay. Written text is very small. इसको बड़ा नहीं कर सकता मैं फ्रेंड. This is my note taking app. I hope that's fine. Okay, when he was 3 years old, there is this fellow called Gopal Baba Velankar, right? He's called Velankar. I think that's how it's pronounced. Retired to Dapoli, created the first public petition of the untouchable movement, and he requested the British colonial army to resume its recruitment of the untouchable caste within the army. Okay, now this is important because he was probably one of the first people who have fought for the causes of the depressed classes, untouchable classes. Now, these are not words that we use anymore in normal day lexicon, but I'm going to use it because they used it. Audio is low now. चैट एक बार मुझे बता दो कि सब कुछ ठीक है क्या. ओके, फिर शुरू एक बार फिर से करता हूँ. ये बहुत डिस्ट्रैक्टिंग हो जाएगा वरना. नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू इंक्रीज द वॉल्यूम अ लिटिल बिट. ओके, अच्छा, दिस इज फाइन. ऑडियो इज लो. ऑडियो इज लो. नाउ इज इट बेटर? हाँ ठीक है. हाँ ओके, थैंक यू थैंक यू थैंक यू. अब ठीक है, वीडियो ठीक है, एवरीथिंग ठीक है, फॉन्ट इज लो, ऑल द थिंग्स. What I'll do is, friends, if you want to read this, I'm going to share that document by the end of this. I'm going to make it public property. So in the description, you will find that document. Okay, so in case you want to read the timeline again and look at the sources and everything and do a deeper dive than this, you will have it. Okay, yeah, so I'll do that. Right. So so this Gopal Baba, he developed a racial theory to explain the oppression and also published a monthly journal Vital Vidvansak. Vital, I'm not so sure what that word is, targeted at the Brahminical orthodoxy. So he was going full anti-Brahmin during that time when Ambedkar was just 3 years old. Also, he was related to Ramabai, hmm, who married Dr. Ambedkar later, right? So there is the deep family connection there also. So some might say that there were influences within his family that were starting to feed him at a very young age. So in from 1894 to 96, he lived in a place called Dapoli. His early education happened there, and he had to face insane discrimination in school. Okay, he wrote this autobiographical note called "Waiting for a Visa," worth a read, by the way. And he recalled how he was not allowed to drink water from the common water tap in school. So he wrote this one line, which is "No peon, no water." Okay. Should I read the thing? I have a very nice that I pulled out from. Okay. I'm going to read it. Let's make it grand. Let's make it grand. Yes. These are the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. While in the school, I knew that children of the touchable classes, when they felt thirsty, could go out to the tap water, open it, and quench their thirst. All that was necessary was the permission of the teacher, but my position was separate. I could not touch the tap, and unless it was opened for it by a touchable person, it was not possible for me to quench my thirst. In my case, the permission of the teacher was not enough. The presence of the school peon was necessary. For he was the only person whom the class teacher could use for such a purpose. If the peon was not available, I had to go without water. The situation can be summed up in the statement, "No peon, no water." That's what he had to go through. Yeah. And that had become later, this is foreshadowing actually, because that became a constant thing in his life later, which is so freaking tragic by itself. But even at the age of about between the age of 5 to 15, he had to go through this, right? And that is, if you imagine that as your formative memory, yeah, I can imagine why he went all hulked up in later in his life against the caste system. I can imagine. I hope you can too. I don't blame him, honestly. I don't. 1906, he was 15 and he married his first marriage. Second marriage happened much later. First marriage to Ramabai at the age of 15, and she was 8 years old. Guys, this is 1906. So do not judge, right? But I'm just giving you as it is. This was his first marriage. In 1912, when he was 21-year-old, what is fake information? You can cross check. क्या? Oh, not calling me out, no? किसी और से बात क्रॉस टॉकिंग कर रहे हो तुम लोग. Anyway, so in 1912, when he was 21, Ambedkar passed the BA examination in economics and political science at the Bombay University and proceeded to take up a position as the administrator of Baroda state. Okay, so his nerd friends have given me a state map to look at also. This is Baroda, by the way. This yellow is Baroda and they have divisions. So, how do you administer something like this? What? What is this? What? Kadi division, Amreli division, Baroda division and Navsari division. Railways open and in construction. All the things. Yeah, this. So he was taken up as a position. He took up as a position as the administrator of Baroda state, administrative state. Okay, at the age of 22, which is 1913, he was awarded a scholarship by Sayaji Rao Gaikwad, Maharaja of Baroda. Okay, so he was back then he was the king of Baroda state, and so I've read a bunch about how he got this, and even this movie actually shows it. Uh, During that time, no, in the 1913 that period of time, there were a lot of social reform lot of social reform movements that were going on, or influential thinkers that were coming out, and a lot of kings, well educated English speaking kings were reading from them. These were Western philosophers, a lot of Indian philosophers also, a lot of people, political thinkers, they were looking at them. Sayaji Rao Gaikwad apparently was a very cool character, and he wanted to take steps towards not exactly ending caste, but towards reform somehow. And he was poking at it, and he tried to use Ambedkar to poke at the system a lot, right? So in the movie, and in another thing that I was reading, again, that was an unverified thing, so I'm not putting it in, but even in the movie they show this, right, where they have this moment where Ambedkar goes to the office, and the people there refuse to drink the same water that he is drinking, right? So he's just like, pani de do, whatever, and they're like, nahi, aap aapka pani ghar se leke aana, right, at the office. And also they show that he had to go through a lot of discrimination when it came to getting a house and all the things, right? So he goes to the king and basically says ki, what have you done to me? Like, this is just not working. I have no support. I have no house. What do I do? So the king is like, listen, by giving you a job in this department, I'm making my own steps towards social reform. I'm also like poking the system a little bit to start a change. But giving you a home will be too much. So even they were being careful, but they wanted to like push things in the right direction in one way or another. So that happened later in his life. So yahan pe Sayaji Rao gave him a 10-year scholarship to do his MA and PhD at Columbia University in America. So he left for New York to study at Columbia University, and his intellectual influences, one of them was John Dewey. He is a philosopher of education. He's a pragmatist and taught moral and political philosophy to him. So he had a giant effect on him, and that is also important. Ooh, an incident happened when he was in Colombia, by the way. So Lala Rajpat Rai was in New York in 1914, right? And he established the Indian Home Rule League of America. And that whole intention was to organize people within America to help the political independence struggle in India, right? So they were trying to form a network, etc. They were trying to do it in Britain, America, bunch of places, right? So Lala Rajpat Rai was in New York when he was doing that, and he kept trying to ask Bhimrao Ambedkar to join, but Ambedkar refused. Ambedkar was like, nahi karne ka hai. And he's like, why? And he's like, no, I came here to study. I didn't come here to do any sort of revolutionary activities. So please, I'm okay, right? And he's like, I know my priorities. I have basically left my family behind, come here on a scholarship. The scholarship is for me to study here. So I will do the best job I can. I will study. I will skill myself, and I am just going to do that. Please, please keep away from me. Right? And he kept bugging him, apparently, Lala Rajpat Rai. Bhimrao Ambedkar said, you have enslaved untouchables in your struggle, and you are looking to do away with your own political enslavement. So even then, he was like, देखो, तुम political enslavement and all you are trying to get rid of, But honestly, even after that happens, us Dalits, we will be kept in our place. He knew it instinctively. And honestly, I think he was also foreshadowing again, because later in his life, that is exactly what happens. Uh, Thank you, Congress, I guess. Anyway, so Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar said, ki, I'm going to study. Bye. Bye, bye. So that happened, okay? And John Dewey. So this is a very nice article I found. By the way, you can check it out. It's called it's in the Forward Press. The like-mindedness of Dewey and Ambedkar. Yeah. There is this very interesting thing that was written there. Yeah. So John Dewey died in 1952, right? Long after, long after, like, I'm talking about the future. In 1952, John Dewey died. And that was the time when Ambedkar was traveling to America, right? And he died a day before he came to America, right? And he wrote to his wife, I am so sorry. I owe all my intellectual life to him. He was a wonderful man. So people say that, he took him very seriously, right? He was a pragmatist. I mean, John Dewey was a pragmatist. And that sort of also influenced Ambedkar's philosophies later in life, where he became an extreme pragmatist and realist, especially when it comes to the partition, which explains a lot. Again, foreshadowing, wo baad mein aayega, right? Chat, you know what pragmatism is, right? If you don't know, say hi. I will read the definition. It's okay. Yeah, figured. It's okay. Chat, again, at any point of time, you, yeah, it is interchangeably used with realists also, but pragmatists. Pragmatism is the opposite of Indian parenting. So at any point, chat, you feel like there is something you don't understand, please feel free to ask. Huh? कुछ भी पूछो मुझे. Be stupid. Be whatever you want. Don't. And nobody's judging you here. Word starting with P. Yeah. So pragmatism is basically a pragmatist, actually, is an advocate of the approach that evaluates theories or beliefs in terms of success of their practical application. Practical application के बारे में बार बार सोचने का है. If you have theories and beliefs, do they work in the real world is what a pragmatist is. Okay? Realist, pragmatist, it is used interchangeably sometimes. So John Dewey was a realist and pragmatist, and Ambedkar took it to new extremes later, right? He was also a very pragmatist, and he was a pragmatist and a realist. Yeah, sort of. Like a scientist, you can say that. Rationalism is also one of these things that you can say, but it's more in action, I feel like. Pragmatism is more in action. Okay, 1915, he passed his MA examination at Columbia. His thesis was called Ancient Indian Commerce. Ancient Indian Commerce, okay? This is his thesis. Ancient Indian Commerce. So in the movie, they do this a lot. In the movie, he says this a bunch of times. And everybody looks at him and is like, really? Really? What? So apparently, he had done a thesis and study, and he was obsessed with this, of the history of the Indian subcontinent, economic history of the Indian subcontinent from 1792 onwards till present. So he did this whole thing for his thesis. So yeah, when he said bye bye to Lala Lajpat Rai, he meant it. When he was like, "Mujhe padna hai," he was studying like nobody's business. Look at this. Agriculture organization, organization of labor, industry and commerce. Goes on. Yeah, yeah, it's long. It's long. Again, I will give you that document. It has the link. If you want to go through it, you can go through it later. Don't worry. Don't worry. सब सोर्स करेगा तेरा फैजल. Okay. Now 1916. This is where things start, like getting a little interesting. So in 25, at the age of 25, he left America and reached London. He had a letter of introduction from this person called Edwin Cannon and Sidney Webb, who are the founders of LSE. Okay. Basically, he wanted to study further in London School of Economics, and he submitted his master's thesis and titled it The Administration and Finance of the East India Company. So from history of subcontinent, he started focusing more on the finances of East India Company at this point of time. Okay. He submitted his PhD thesis on the evolution of provincial finance in India, a study in the provincial decentralization of imperial finance. Yeah. So I didn't go through this, but there are some very interesting articles on this. LSE has done, I think, a giant piece on basically how the letter, as I was saying, right, Professor Foxwell. This is the introduction letter. Look at this. He is desirous of utilizing certain research facilities both in London and in Edinburgh. He's talking about Ambedkar, and has asked for a letter of introduction to you. This I am very glad indeed to give him, as he is not only a very able but an exceedingly pleasant fellow. And I am sure that you will do for him what you can. Exceedingly pleasant fellow was his recommendation. So, that was nice. Again, they show this in the movie also a little bit. थोड़ा सा उसको dramatize किया है, but interesting sequence of events. Not surprised by that description? Yeah. It is a canonical event. Yeah. I get it. So, Anti Woman is saying my recommendations are so dull by comparison. I get it. That's exactly what I was saying. Okay, it's 1917 now. Ambedkar is 26. Chat, who all here is 26? It's always like fun to sort of compare your age with someone like him and what he was doing versus what you were doing and how you should feel like shit. I mean, if you had to feel like shit by comparing yourself to anyone, let it be Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Yeah. See, 26-year-olds. I'm not even 18. Nameless. It's okay. Yeah, I'm being sadistic. Guys, please, it's okay to feel bad about this. We are not that amazing. Darth Nayak is like, I'm working on batteries. Sure. Okay. 1917, the age 26. Ambedkar has to return to India as his scholarship ended. Again, remember, he got a 10-year scholarship and then khatam ho gaya, so he had to return. He sent his beloved collection of... Oh, this was an interesting story. So, he had sent his beloved collection of books by steamer, which is a which was sent with all of his books. He was a very big book collector. A German U-boat sank that, and his books were lost. And he did not give a shit about his luggage or anything. He's like, oh my god, meri kitabeh chali gayi. And I get it. I hard related to Dr. Ambedkar at this point. I was like, I think that would be my reaction as well. If I transfer all of my books one day and I move somewhere and then they tomorrow tell me कि तुम्हारा जो cargo container it got lost at sea, I think I'm going to go out and murder someone. Genuinely, it would be heartbreaking. And this is again so horrifying. Also, I have to point out, Dr. Ambedkar was not a rich person. Books were expensive. Dr. Ambedkar was not a rich person. He was living on scholarship, right? He basically lost maybe thousands of rupees during that time of property, essentially, which was his own. And that's another sad part. Okay. This is interesting. So he writes, he wrote about his return to India and then how he joined the Sydenham College at the age of 27. He came back and he became a professor of political economy at Sydenham College, right? He wrote in one of his books, Return to India and Harsh Reality is what he wrote. I'm going to read it out. Chat, should I do the echo voice? It's nice, no? I like it. If you don't like it, please let me know. But I'll do this once. If you don't like it, I won't do it next time. This is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar again. My 5 years of staying in Europe and America had completely wiped out of my mind any consciousness that I was an untouchable. And that an untouchable, wherever he went in India, was a problem to himself and to others. But when I came out of the station, my mind was considerably disturbed by a question: where to go, who will take me? This is when he returned to India. He had become a professor in a college and he couldn't get a place to stay. Yeah, nobody was giving him a house. Honestly, this is the scene that is showing now. Yeah, this is actually the scene where he's not able to get a house. And he had to fake his identity.
तुम पारसी नहीं है? मैं पारसी हूँ.
हमको बेवकूफ समझता है.
ठीक है. तुम्हारा सुधरे कुश्ती दिखाओ. चलो दिखाओ. बताओ. मैं हिंदू हूँ.
तुम यहाँ नहीं रह सकता है. ये धर्मशाला हमारा बिरादरी ने खाली पारसी लोगों के लिए बनाया है.
मैं समझ गया आपकी परेशानी. मैं पारसी नाम लिखूंगा रजिस्टर में. आपकी भी आमदनी हो सकती मैं यहाँ रहूंगा तो. मुझे घर मिलते ही ये जगह छोड़ दूंगा. मैं ऑफिसर हूँ अकाउंटिंग डिपार्टमेंट में बड़ौदा स्टेट के.
So I think they mixed up the timeline a little bit in the movie because there were multiple sources about when this happened. It either happened the first time he went to Baroda or it happened in Sydenham College. In this, they basically mixed the two for some reason. I don't know why, but I mean, I get it. But he had to face a lot of discrimination when it came to housing. Okay, that is one thing that he keeps writing about again and again. Okay. Bhimayana में भी था ये. Okay, fair enough. So, as I said, when he came back to India, he had to face a lot of discrimination. What he said was when he was in America and London, he was basically not treated on caste terms. Society didn't treat him on casteist terms, but they did treat him according to an Indian, right? Because they were all colonial masters and Indians were there and they had to face that sort of discrimination, which is racism. But his caste identity, nobody really cared about. But the moment he came back, he was reminded of his caste identity. And that is exactly what happens, which is you cannot choose it, friendos. also, I think another reason why NRIs are so upset whenever caste is brought up in like a US university or whatever is because if they are from upper caste, they want to get rid of that guilt feeling. So they go to America and it's like, abhi to kuch nahi hai idhar. Idhar to no caste, nothing is happening, no discrimination, la 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 la. And on the other hand, there would be like people from the DBA community who have finally made it to like Ivy League colleges, etc. after so long. Yeah, they are like, bhai, I am here and you are still treating me like shit. That doesn't make any sense anymore. We are in 2024. That doesn't make any sense. Imagine in 1917 what must have happened to Ambedkar. This is the guy not giving him water and blocking it in front of him. Look at this.
तुम सीनियर ऑफिसर होगे, लेकिन तुम इस पानी को छू नहीं सकते।
अगर महाराज को इस बात का पता चल जाए तो?
कहाँ जाओ, बोल दो, हम नहीं डरते। ये हमारे धर्म का मामला है। अगर महाराजा तुम्हें पानी पिलाना चाहते हैं, तो अपने महल से लाकर पिलाएं। वो
Yeah. So, very, very interesting when you think about it, how in the contemporary world, it is happening the other way around also. I just wanted to quickly make that point. Okay, so in 1918, he becomes a professor of political economy at Sydenham College, recommended by Lord Sydenham. Now, one source which I read pointed out how even in college, like other professors refuse to share the same water source with him. Okay, take a moment, chat. Uno momento, chat. Age 5 till whatever, 13, 12, 13, 15. Not allowed to drink from tap water. Peon had to come, peon not there, you're thirsty. That was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as a child. Went on to get a scholarship, go to frickin' Columbia University, get an MA, then go to LSE, get an MA, PhD, became a professor at a fancy college. Still nobody is letting him drink the water. What the actual F? So basically, thus reinforcing his point that caste discrimination, no matter what you do, no matter how much you educate yourself, no matter what degree you get, exists. Because it is that deep set. It is that deep set. I mean, इधर तो था ही, like 1919 की बात कर रहे हैं हम. Yep. Don't worry, it gets extreme later. Huh? Like अभी तो कास्ट के बारे में just हम surface scratch कर रहे हैं. Later we get to the real deal. Annihilation of caste and all आने दो बाद में. Okay. Now, we are at 1919, age 28. He testified before the Southborough Committee demanding separate electorates and reserved seats for untouchables, saying, the real social divisions of India are 1. Touchable Hindus, 2. Untouchable Hindus, 3. Mohammedans, 4. Christians, Parsis and Jews. Real social divisions. Again, repeating again. Touchable Hindus, untouchable Hindus, Mohammedans, Christians, Parsis, Jews. According to Ambedkar, that is what the real social divisions in India looked like in 1919. This was at the age of 28, by the way, when he is going to the Southborough Committee, to the British, and demanding that we need separate electorates and reserved seats for untouchables, right? There is this transcript also, by the way. Again, evidence before the Southborough Committee. He gives you a long reason of why that is the case, and I have taken like a few bits from it. Look at this. Real social divisions. The groups of divisions, each with a set like-mindedness, there are sure to be conflict, may be given as follows. Hindus, Mohammedans, Christians, Parsis, Jews, etc. But real social divisions are this. Yeah. I like how he called them touchable Hindus and untouchable Hindus. It's I don't know if he was like, I mean, I sometimes wonder because I heard his BBC interview and I feel that, of course, Ambedkar was an extremely smart man. I also think he must have been a bit of a crazy, funny character in real life. I just want to imagine Ambedkar as this, like a Joker type character. Joker in the sense, not like like Joker from Batman, but I don't know how to describe it. What do you think, chat? Like, do you think he would be like I think he would be a fun person to hang out with. And witty. Yes, witty. Witty is a good word. Yeah. He had a good sense of humor. Yeah. Because all the speeches and all the things in the Constituent Assembly are so serious. And this movie is also so serious. But I feel like he must be like trolling people a little bit also. Because I'll give you a reason. He was witty. He was intellectual. I highly recommend you go and read this book called Riddles in Hinduism, which has been written by him. Cannot warn you enough. Read it. Do not share it with anyone. Just read it. Read like 2 chapters and then come back and tell me that Ambedkar was not trolling Hinduism. Because I think he was. And he does a fabulous job of it. It's basically the roast of Hinduism. The book, if it's in the 24th century, if you want to call it that, it is his attempt in social reform. It should be called The Roast of Hinduism by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It is on the MEA website also. So you can go read it for free. But बाद में बोलना मत मुझे, outrage होके मेरे पास मत आना बाद में. Okay, moving on to 29. To age 29, this is 1920. Okay, this is where he starts a weekly paper, Marathi paper called Mooknayak. And wait, I'll show you the first masthead. Look at this. This is Mooknayak, humble Mooknayak. This is humble Mooknayak. The whole theory that he came, but the whole reason why he started this is because he said that Dalits need to educate themselves now. This is his educate phase. You see the title of this, we are going through stages. Abhi main bata raha hu. This is his educate phase. His whole thing was that depressed classes, untouchables / Dalits, what you want to call them, should educate themselves, right? And become capable enough to participate in conversations in society. But unfortunately, the upper castes had taken over the media. Oh wait! Yeah, it's still the case. Sorry, it's still the case. I'm just saying. His thing was that the upper castes are the ones who are setting the narrative. So we need to have our say. And therefore, you need to educate yourself and you need to talk about it. And therefore, I am going to start a weekly newspaper to give the Dalit perspective. And that is why he started Mooknayak. Mooknayak, literal translation, the silent hero. Or the hero of the silent. Chat, which one is better? The second one sounds better, I think. The hero of the silent, or is it the silent hero? There is this one bit that he said in his first editorial. With your permission, chat, I would like to read it. Okay? Okay. So voice, no voice? Hero of the silent? Silent hero? Hero of the silent seems more poetic. That's true. I think so too. It is still published today. So, Dartnayak. So, fun fact, the current Mooknayak, Meena Kotwal. Yeah, Meena Kotwal, who founded it, she basically started it with the same intention. Like Babasaheb Ambedkar, she also felt that the current media is dominated by the upper caste and there is no Dalit perspective that is coming in the media. So, Mooknayak. Now, Mooknayak is alive and kicking. Voiceless. Voice of the voiceless. Nice, nice, nice. That's true. Yeah, Nayak, you can check out. Like she has given a giant talk on this also. I think a TED talk or something. But anyway, reading a few lines from the first editorial, friends. One need not tell the Hindus how caste feelings among them are more deep rooted than the feelings of religious oneness. If a European is asked, who is he? On his answer that he is an Englishman, a German, a French, and Italian, we are satisfied. But this is not so with the Hindus. No one will be satisfied. He must reveal his caste. This means to reveal their humanity, the Hindus have to reveal their inequality at every step. Hindu society is just like a tower which has several stories without a ladder or entrance. The man who is born in the lower story cannot enter the upper story, however worthy he may be, and the man who is born in the upper story cannot be driven out into the lower story, however unworthy he may be. Yes, yes, yes. So basically, yeah, I mean, that pretty much says it. Why do I need to add anything to that? I like, so the way he describes the tower, I like that description a lot, and that was his first editorial in Mooknayak, right? Very clear what was the intention, and rattled a lot of people, obviously. That pretty much happened all the time. So he also spoke at the depressed classes conference in Mangaon, Kolhapur and Nagpur. Okay. So 1921, at the age of 30, he's still 30. He's just 30. Oh my God. What is happening? Anyway, he's 30. This is educate phase, remember. While Ambedkar was away, Ramabai struggled to feed her kids. One son, Gangadhar, passed away. Now, little bit of detail about that. While he was away on scholarship, he had very little money to send home. So he was working as a dishwasher, whatever odd jobs he got, etc. But he had 5 kids, right? And all of them passed away except one. He basically was Gangadhar. He still, no, Gangadhar passed away. Yashwant is the one who survived, right? So he's the father of Prakash Ambedkar, who exists currently. So his grandfather is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Why so many kids? Good question. Because kids were dying a lot. No, seriously, big slow. That was the whole reason of why a lot of people had a lot of kids back then. Ambedkar was how many? 14th child, right? What was that? Where is it? 14th child, yeah. Ambedkar was the 14th child. He had 5 more children, and also contraception was rare, but also infant mortality was so high. The chances of your kid surviving was so low that they just kept trying. Also patriarchy. Add patriarchy to it. Ladka chahiye. So great combination for lots of kids. My own grandmother was the 12th child out of my only four, or out of them only 4 survived. Oh yeah, yeah. My grandfather was 13 siblings. My grandmother was 8 siblings. And the other grandmother was, I think, 11 siblings, and another one was 9 siblings or something. Yeah, so 4 sets. So they basically between them, oh my god, if you think about it, bloodline. Infant mortality, friends. So one of the heartbreaking things that happened during that time was his son passed away, and while Ambedkar was abroad, Ramabai was struggling to feed her children. Ambedkar writes to Ramabai and says, "I was pained to know that Gangadhar was ill." This is in 1921. Have faith in yourself. Worry would lead to nothing. I am also on the verge of starvation. I have nothing to send to you, but I am trying to arrange something. If it takes time or if you have nothing left, sell off your jewelry and run the household. That was his advice. And the son didn't make it, unfortunately. Okay, now 1922. This is the age of 31. He completed a thesis for an MSc Economics degree at London School of Economics and was called to the bar and submitted a PhD thesis in economics to the University of London. And then he was called to the bar at Gray's Inn, becoming a barrister at law. So he got a law degree and MSc in economics and PhD at the same time. He was a prodigy. Someone said he was a prodigy. I believe you. He was a prodigy. His thesis is accepted. The Problem of the Rupee, Its Origin and Solutions, a critique of British monetary policy. Ambedkar challenged Keynes. Did you know that? Did you know that? The father of modern economics was challenged by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar at the age of 32. At the age of 32. And I read that, I was like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now, so initially it was rejected, by the way, this thesis, because a very fun line, right? Ambedkar submitted his doctoral thesis, The Problem of the Rupee, in March 1923, but it was not recommended for acceptance. Reports claim that the thesis was too revolutionary and anti-British for the examiners. Basically, he was going against the exchange standards of the day that America had come up with, and he wanted to go back to the gold standard. That is the basic mota mota of what he wanted, what he was suggesting. And he said Keynes' theories are garbage. And they don't apply to India. So everybody was like, oh my god, this 32-year-old, what is he talking about? So revolutionary and anti-British, apparently. However, there is no indication of this in Ambedkar's student file. The thesis was resubmitted in August 1923 and accepted in November 1923. Chad Ambedkar. Yeah, exactly. What a guy. Seriously. I mean, baller, man. Seriously. See, Chad, didn't I tell you by the end of this, you will go away with love in your heart. Okay. 1924. 33. Now he's 33. Approaching very close to my age now. Aren't you, Dr. Ambedkar? Yes. क्या किया है life में? Anyway. He returns to India after completing his studies in London and forms the Bahikshrit Hitakarni Sabha and he began to practice law in Bombay. Now, Bahikshrit Hitakarni Sabha started off as a mild little club, honestly. They had some objectives, which I will read out. The aims and objectives of the Sabha were as under: to promote the spread of education among the depressed classes by opening hostels or by employing by employing such other means as may seem necessary or desirable. Now, we are transitioning from the educate phase to the organize phase, right? Now, his whole thing about mooknayak, education, etc., we are all there, right? Now, we are moving towards the organize phase, where Ambedkar thought that, okay, once we educate, we need to sort of organize now. So this is the first attempt in my mind of him trying to organize. Now, this is a organization which would spread education amongst the depressed classes. And they also wanted to open hostels because of the housing problem that he faced. So it's like, maybe there are more people like me who must have faced that. So hostels khol lete. Also for employment, right? To promote the spread of culture among depressed study circles. Promotion of culture. Indigenous, local culture, but also culture in general. Third, to advance and improve the economic condition of the depressed classes by starting industrial and agricultural schools. Skilling India. Ambedkar trying that shit. Yeah, he wanted them to learn some practical skills, industrial and agriculture, to represent the grievances of the depressed classes. Now, the other objective, the final objective of this was that हम जाके यूनियनाइज करेंगे और गवर्नमेंट को बताएंगे कि हमको क्या चाहिए. So that's why organize. That's why he wanted to organize, to help the people who are a part of this group, but also to sort of coalesce whenever it is needed to talk to the government. Because once you go and talk to the government as a mass, that is effective. Hashtag MPGA. Yes. No, I have to say, some of the things I'm doing currently definitely inspired by this OG amazing person. Oh, ये खत्म हो गई. Wait. Patu. किधर थे हम? Yes. Okay. थोड़ा सा एक सेकेंड, थोड़ा सा रिकैलिब्रेट कर लेते हैं. Okay. So, organize phase. Jai Bhim, comrade. Yes, Piyush. Jai Bhim, Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim to you too, sir. Hey, thank you, Poison. Thank you for the 5 memberships. Friends, please do appreciate your support. Please do like this stream. Please let people see who Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is. If you are so far liking this thing that we are doing, the deep dive stream, please do consider liking it, sharing it, all the things. It'll help. It'll help me, and it'll help you, and it'll help everybody. Saurav, thank you, and Akshara, thank you so much for the support also. Also, if these things do well, I will just do more, right? So this is again 8 other people have worked on this, honestly, and I am so happy today that there is so much to talk about. Bro, if we are going to count the feathers in Ambedkar's hat, this one episode is not enough. Jacob, yes, I agree with that. This is, again, I am doing like a sort of a deep dive, but then there can be deeper dive done in all of the things that he did later. Again, insane personality, insane things he did in life. Obviously, like, एक stream में नहीं होने वाला है, but yeah, it's okay. अभी करते हैं. This is intro. Okay. Right. 1926, 35. He's at the age of 35. He gave evidence to the Royal Commission on Indian Currency and Finance. Ambedkar had five children. He lost his fourth child. Only one survived, Yashwant. I already told you about that. Nominated as the member of the Bombay Legislative Council. Okay. Now, 1927. Now the organize goes to agitate. थोड़ा सा agitation भी शुरू हो रहा है अभी. Okay. 1927, age of 36, the Mahad Satyagraha happens. I don't know why it's called Satyagraha, honestly. I don't know because it doesn't seem like a Satyagraha, like in the strictest terms. But when I read this, I was like, have the Gandhians appropriated this also? Because I don't see it as a Satyagraha, what happened here. Chat, you tell me, okay? Like when I tell you the story, you tell me. So, there is this place called Mahad where there was a pond. Okay, there was a pond ही बोल सकते हैं, right? Untouchables and depressed classes were not allowed to drink water from that pond. Now the thing is, Ambedkar led a bunch of Dalits to go and drink water from there in 1927. Once he did that, things got ugly. The pond, as it turns out, is surrounded by houses of caste Hindus. They called them caste Hindus, okay, which means upper caste. Caste Hindus, and then also a few Muslims, by the way, that is also pointed out. So things get ugly, police comes in, बहुत बवाल होता है, goes to court, right? So he basically did that to obviously break the untouchability thing and drink water. This movement turns into a 10-year legal battle, by the way, and it is to open the tank for other untouchables. Page 6 of the judgment. Ek second. Now I read this. Okay. I read this whole thing. And there are some very interesting things. Look at this, friends. This is what it looked like. The High Court of Judicature at Bombay Appellate Side. Criminal Appeal Application, Essay 462-933. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, Member of Parliamentary Committee, London, and others. Narahari Damodar Vaidya and others. So Narahari Damodar Vaidya was representing the caste Hindus and Bhimrao Ambedkar was representing the Dalits and untouchables during that time. Okay. So these are the defendants and respondents in appellation, legal language, whatever. But you know, the fun thing is, matlab, it's very interesting. One thing I found. Look at this. I'm going to read this part out. The plaintiffs have examined a number of witnesses, many of them old inhabitants, whose evidence may be said to have established that within the period of living memory, the water tank, has been used exclusively by caste Hindus and a few Mohammedans, and has never been used by the untouchables. It is in fact admitted that the latter never used it before the year 1927, when a campaign against the doctrine of the untouchability was carried on by defendant number 1, which is Ambedkar, and some of the untouchables went and drank the water as a protest. So the judges are saying that the plaintiffs are saying that, you know, इसके पहले ये कभी हुआ ही नहीं था, like, because it was always the case forever and ever into the past that only caste Hindus were the ones who were drinking from this pond. Okay, until 1927, when Ambedkar did the unthinkable. They were assaulted and beaten by the caste Hindus, and there were criminal persecutions which led to the present suit. as there is no record of any attempt having been made by the untouchables to use the tank before that. There is no evidence of any positive act of exclusion. What is proved is user by the one party and absence of the user by the other. User, this is strange English, but anyway, this was due no doubt not to any accidental causes, but to mutual acceptance of the doctrine of untouchability, which until recent years was not openly challenged. So you can imagine, during that time, the situation was such that when Babasaheb Ambedkar took a few Dalits to drink some water from a pond, it was seen as a revolutionary act because they genuinely thought it was like a mutual acceptance of the doctrine of untouchability. Do you hear that? That blows my mind a little bit. I don't know about you, but oh my God, what? The learned assistant judge comments on the fact that there is no evidence of the exclusion of untouchables in pre-British times. Nothing to show that the exclusion or exclusive user was in force in the days of Maratha rule or the Musalman rule. So it goes on and on. Basically, the plaintiffs, what they were saying, कि forever and ever, किसी ने किसी को exclude नहीं किया, just normally ऐसे ही चलता आ रहा है, तो ऐसे ही चलने दीजिए ना. I'm like, okay. But Ambedkar was like, no, bye. But yeah, that took 10 years. That took 10 years. But yeah, fun stuff. Again, guys, document दे दूंगा मैं इसके नीचे बाद में. You can read the whole thing yourself also. This timeline is there. See, as I said, nerd friends have done some really deep dive. Deep dive किया हमने, deep dive. Okay. Now, by the way, उसके बाद he didn't stop because he went to Bhima Koregaon. Chat, you know Bhima Koregaon? Have you heard of this place called Bhima Koregaon? Say hi. He held a meeting at Koregaon Memorial where names of Mahad soldiers who fought with the British against the Peshwas are inscribed there on a marble tablet. Yes, hi, okay. To those who don't know, just say no. It's okay. You can say no. I'll explain a little bit quickly Bhima Koregaon. It's very important. Wasn't there a Bhima Koregaon case? Yes, there was. Based Captain Francis Taunton. Yes, simple man, yes. Osho's analysis on caste is better than Ambedkar's. I have no idea what Osho said. Osho is a fraud. Please, what are you saying? Osho और अंबेडकर को सेम सेंटेंस में डाला ही कैसे बे? कुछ भी करते रहते हो, हाँ? Rajneesh, the guy who basically released some gun-toting white people on other people in America. No! What? No? Okay. So, briefly, so the Battle of Koregaon was fought in the year 1818, right? This was between the British East India Company. So the British hadn't really established their colonial rule yet. This was East India Company. They were just traders who were just running around India trying to do business and also got guns because they had guns. And तोफ भी आ गए थे and also cavalry, तबड़क. So 1818, yeah, there was a battle that happened between the British East India Company and the Peshwas. Now the Peshwa faction of the Maratha Confederacy was giant during that time, right? You know, like all the things you imagine Maharashtra right now, a little bit of Karnataka and also a little bit above, Gujarat tak, all of that Peshwa rule, right? So Poona is where shit went down. Poona के आसपास, because Poona पे British had taken over, right? And the Marathas were like, Peshwas, you go and release the Poonas, because Peshwa, Poona, right. So the force that came from the Peshwa side and attacked the company troops, they consisted of about कितने थे? 1800, no, 12 and 6, so 1800 to 2000 people, okay? And they were full of Arabs and Gosains. I don't know what Gosains are though. What are Gosains, chat? Gosain क्या होता है? Whatever. Arabs, Gosains and Marathas. Now this is the caste, Maratha caste, okay? Warrior monks. Okay, warrior monks. Okay. Aghori Babas belonging to Akhadas. Oh, very interesting. Right. So, no, so someone is saying that the Maratha faction was bigger. So, what I read about this, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Marathas' overall strength was some 30K or something, 30K soldiers. But out of that, about 2,000 soldiers were the ones who were heading towards Poona to recapture it. And then they met at Koregaon, and that is where the battle happened, where the company troops which were coming to protect Poona on the behalf of East India Company, they were the ones who met there, and the clash happened. Now, the company troops were 800. The British troops, basically, company troops we'll call them. They were not technically British troops, they're company troops, company hired mercenaries, if you will. They were of Indian origin, right? They were Mahars, Marathas, Rajputs, Muslims and Jews. Okay? So a large number of people in that sort of contingent which was protecting technically company run Poona on behalf of the East India Company had Mahars, Marathas, Rajputs, Muslims and Jews. Okay? Now this was basically led by this guy called Captain Staunton. And he was very ill prepared apparently, but he did some amazing strategies to corner them into Koregaon, the village that is in place, and push them off. And he feigned some things, and there is like a whole narrative around it. But apparently he made the Marathas believe that there is a bigger army coming from Piche which will overwhelm their 2,000 people. So then they were like, okay, no, bye. So they retreated. The Peshwas, they retreated. And a lot of people died, by the way. A lot of company men died during that time. A lot of Mahars died during that time. So, in their honor, the British have established a monument there. It is called the Koregaon Memorial. Right? Koregaon Memorial. Yeah, it's called Koregaon Memorial. So, that is the Battle of Bhima Koregaon. Right? Now, here's the thing. Battle of Bhima Koregaon. No, Battle of Koregaon ही बोलते हैं ना? Bhima Koregaon? Battle of Koregaon ही बोलते हैं उसको. Yeah. So that is the. Is it okay, Chad? Was that enough information? Yeah. 500 regiment, 5 losses. Bhima Koregaon बोलते हैं. Okay. Fair enough. So there is a marble tablet there where the names of all the people who fought against the British, including the Dalits, the Mahars, is also on it. Okay. Now that is where he went there and he held a meeting there. That now he forms the Samaaj Samata Sangh along with B.V. Pradhan and others. They were trying to get into like intercaste marriage first. They were trying to do some disruptive social activities through this Samaaj Samata Sangh. Their whole logic was social reform ke liye we need to do some disruptive things. So they tried to do like some events, didn't really work out. So then they ended up doing an intercaste dining event. That was also revolutionary, by the way. People from all sorts of castes and religions sitting together and having dinner. Yes. I have a focho. Focho kidhar hai focho? Oh, this is Koregaon. There was a photo kind of be on the Samaaj. Yes, this is the one. Look at this. Look at Dr. Ambedkar looking fly. Oh my God. Look at him. What a guy. Ambedkar center crossed leg with members of the Samaaj Samata Sangh founded with his Savarna associates in September 1927. In this photograph of 9th June 1929, sitting left to right are M.B. Deshmukh. Okay, remember the surnames. Bhalchandra V. Pradhan, Devrao Naik, A.S. Asaikar, M.G. Pradhan, Ambedkar. D.V. Pradhan, S.S. Gupte, G.R. Pradhan, standing, G.A. Zadav, R.D. Kawali, Khandkar, Kangle, Bhaskar Rao, Kadrekar, and V.A. Kadam. Okay. There was this interesting thing here also. कहाँ गया वो? Newspaper clipping में था क्या वो? No, not this one. Wait. There is this one thing where they have written all the ये also. इसी में था I think. Wait. Oh, यही है शायद. Where is it? Ah, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So they published next day. They published this, which was names of all the people. So their newsletter was called Samata. Yes, they had newsletters back then also. So Samata mein what they did was they not only wrote the names, but they also wrote it like this. Where is it? किधर गया वो? Yes, this. Dr. Ambedkar, Mahar, D.V. Naik, Govardhan Brahman, Asaikar, Maratha, Tambasht, Kayast, Maratha, Kayast, Sambhar, Kayast, Sambhar, Mahar. Just in your face. It's like these people attended and ate together. Revolution. This is how it starts. CKP. Yeah. Oh, also by the way, just meanwhile in 1927 he also got his PhD. So he became Dr. B.R. Ambedkar from Columbia University. He got his PhD. Right. Now we come to 1928 at the age of 37. He was nominated by the Bombay Presidency Committee to work with the Simon Commission. The Congress boycotted the commission, which had no Indians on it. Now, in 1927, before that, Ambedkar had gone to the Simon Commission demanding a separate electorate for depressed classes. This will become important in the Poona Pact. Okay, it will happen later. I will explain all of it, what was happening here. Ambedkar advocates for the universal adult franchise and expanded understanding of untouchables in the census and Dalit representation in the constitutional reforms using general electorates and reserved seats. Yes, Poona Pact inbound. Chat, brace yourself, Gandhi incoming. It's going to give you all sorts of feelings. I can't explain it. I just have to do it anyway. Oh yeah, this is the case, I think. Dalit drinking water from the tank.
सुनो उन्होंने चौधार तालाब अपवित्र कर दिया। अब वो
Yeah, they're showing it very graphically. Anyway, okay. Now, fun story time. Fun story who I am. 1929, 38. Now, at this point of time, Ambedkar has street cred. Okay, Ambedkar is baller. Everybody is like, he is our leader. Dalits are coalescing around him, organizing around him. He's been doing a bunch of things. He's done some movements. He's done water things. He's done temple things. And he's gone to the British and said that, listen, we need representation in the assemblies. Please give us our seats, all the things, right? He's publishing and he's very well respected, right? Now, he is working around these committees, and one of the things that he kept doing is basically he was documenting cases of discrimination when it came to untouchables, right? So he had gone to this place called Chalisgaon. No, actually he had gone to one place which was something else. One second. Dapoli. I am just correct. I'm just trying to figure that out. Dapoli, I think. Yeah. Yeah, he had gone to this place called Dapoli, and there is a village in the middle called Chalisgaon, where the people there were like, you have to stay with us for a day or so. Like, we will do some mehman nawazi. We very well respected. Please come. So he went, gets out on the railway station, and then at the railway station, they make him wait for a uncomfortably long time. And these are all his words, by the way. He said this. So they make him wait for an uncomfortably long time. And then a tanga arrives, and then they were like, we will take you to the place where, obviously, like, this is 1929, so Dalits live separately across the river in that gaon. So they were like, there is a bridge that we have to cross. It is like about 2 kilometers away. Get a tanga and go. So horse driven, yeah. Now tanga comes, Dr. Ambedkar sits in, they're going well, and then they almost collide with a car. Now Ambedkar is confused. He's like, oh my God, what is happening? Then there is this bridge that they have to cross. While crossing the bridge, while they are taking the turn, one of the wheels of the cart that hits a stone, which is like supposed to be the barricade wahan pe, it upturns, throwing Dr. Ambedkar out of the tanga, and the tanga goes and falls in the river with the horse. It was a horrifying accident that happened. And then Dr. Ambedkar was severely injured. His foot was fractured, and he had to stay in that place for a while then. Like, he was there for like about 2 weeks to recover in Chalisgaon. He was staying with them. And he was trying to figure out what is this? Like, what was that driver? What was happening there? Later he finds out that when he arrived at the station, word had spread that Dr. Ambedkar, Dalit hero, is coming to town. So no tangas refused to ply him. And because the Dalits there wanted to do mehman nawazi, they were like, we can't let him walk. Even if it's like 2 kilometers away, we can't let him walk. We will get a tanga, and we will, take him there with proper, respectful mehman nawazi. No tanga came. They were just like, no, we will not carry a Dalit. So the deal that they struck with one tanga guy was that a Dalit will be the one who will be driving the tanga, but that person was never trained to handle it. So the guy was going blind. He was just like, hey. Because he didn't want to embarrass Dr. Ambedkar, he just ran him into the river almost. I was like, what? But again, like, this is an incident that he talks about. Again, there is the source also. It's crazy. It's crazy. Man. So basically, to preserve dignity, they were going to put his life at risk, essentially. That was his conclusion, at least. good intentions, bad results. Yeah, pretty much. See, this is the story that I just narrated. Pride, awkwardness, and a dangerous accident in Chalisgaon. Okay, there is a lot here. You can read some of it. But this was very fascinating. And his views on this are also like interesting. Mahars thought this to be a happy solution, but they evidently forgot that the safety of the passenger was more important than the maintenance of his dignity. If they had thought of this, they would have considered whether they would get a driver who could safely conduct me to my destination. As a matter of fact, none of them could drive because it was not their trade. They therefore asked someone from amongst them to drive. The man took the reins in his hands and started thinking there was nothing in it. But as he got on, he felt his responsibility and became so nervous that he gave up all attempts to control it. Oh my God. Yeah. Just imagine pride ended Ambedkar's life. Again, see, that's the thing, no? Like, it's tricky there. Because if you think about it in a layered way, the Dalits were never taught to ride a tanga because it is not their profession. They would not be allowed to do it even if they wanted to. The fact that no other tanga was carrying Dr. Ambedkar, which means that even a tanga wala thinks that they are superior, even though Dr. Ambedkar with a PhD and double MA and like whatever social reformer, Dalit hero, talks to the British and does all the amazing things, child prodigy, all the things. It doesn't matter. A tanga wala can decide whether he will want to take you or not because caste. See? See the layers? See the layers? Crazy layers. Okay. Now we go to 1930. We're 39 years old now. I mean, Dr. Ambedkar is 39 years old. August 8th presides over Depressed Classes Congress in Nagpur, making a major speech, attends the first roundtable conference in London, demanding separate Dalit electorates. And also he did the Kalaram Temple entry movement, which is basically fighting for the rights for Dalits to enter temples, and he led a protest at the Kalaram Temple in Nashik. Now this temple is interesting. Kalaram Temple apparently is said to be the temple where Ram went for his vanvas. Matlab, he stayed there during his vanvas, that area. Therefore, there is a temple there. Ambedkar, in his, like he wanted to eradicate untouchability, he led a satyagraha at the temple on March 3rd, 1930, demanding entry for Dalits into this sacred space. And during this satyagraha, 1,500 Dalits picketed the temple. 1,500. Okay. I think it took 6 years for them, but finally the temple allowed entries for Dalits. 6 years later. But बहुत बवाल हुआ उधर भी. कल नहीं बे काला राम. मैंने कब बोला काला राम? काला राम. I said काला राम. काला राम. Okay, fine. Sorry, I insulted your God. I'm sorry by mispronouncing it. Please forgive me for my whatever. काळा राम. मला नाही माहिती. मला खरंच नाही माहिती. मी हे पहिल्यांदा वाचलं आज. मला नाही माहिती राव की काय हे एक्झॅक्टली कोणता राम, काळा राम. आय डोंट नो ऑनेस्टली. मी वाचलं, मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं. माझ्याकडे इतकीच इन्फॉर्मेशन आहे. तुमच्याकडे अजून डीप असेल तर तुम्ही द्या मला. ठीक आहे? नाही, फॅक्ट चेक करत राहा. या एनिवे. Okay, now at the age of 40, He attends the second roundtable conference participating in the formation of the first government of India. He spoke on the federal structure, powers of governance, and a number of topics. Okay. I will come to this. All of this is important, whatever has been happening since I foreshadowed the Poona Pact. We will come back to that. 1932, at the age of 41, British government grants separate electorates for Muslims, Sikhs, Europeans, and depressed classes in the communal award. Now, we must talk about communal award. Now, there was a time when the British had agreed that every religion should have representation in the assembly, the national, state, all the assemblies. So in 1906, they started floating this idea. In 1919, they put up the Government of India Act, where they had given separate electorates for Muslims, Sikhs, and Europeans, primarily Christians, separately in assemblies. Now, it's not that easy. What a communal award means is, let's say there is a place, I don't know, Malviya Nagar, right? Malviya Nagar is a place where, let's say there are 60% Hindus and 20% Muslims, and just random figures I'm giving. 10% Buddhists, 5% Christians, yada yada, so on and so forth. Now, the way these elections here will happen is that there will be a candidate, there will be many candidates, and they will vote for, let's say, the correct candidate. Everybody will vote for the candidates, right? According to their parties, etc. A communal award does not let you do that. What they say is that if, let's say, majority, Hindu majority, Muslim majority constituency is there, then only a Muslim candidate can stand from there, or it can be a Sikh or a Christian, and only the Muslims, Sikhs, or Christians will be able to vote for them. So it is also a special electorate. So it's not like everybody is voting here. It's not universal adult franchise. It is specifically one religion, people standing from one religion and people voting from that religion. This is the genius idea that the British came up with. The British came up with this idea. The British, way back in 1919, that is the communal award. Okay. Now, what happened is that this communal award bullshit happened around 1919, as I said. Then where did that Simon Commission go? Yeah, 1928. 1928 is when Ambedkar has his run-in with the Simon Commission. The Simon Commission is the one who is supposed to give more reforms on this. So they formed a commission called the Simon Commission, who was supposed to suggest what to do with this, because there were a lot of different perspectives on this, and people were like, what is this bullshit? Mostly, a lot of them were like, why are you dividing us like this? British, divide and rule. That's their thing. Okay. So they were trying to do that. Now, Ambedkar goes in, and at the Simon Commission, he says, ki if you are giving electorates for Muslims and Sikhs and Christians and whatever, I want a separate electorate for the depressed classes also, which is separate from the Hindus. Now, this is where shit gets real. This is where people start losing it. Okay. According to Ambedkar, touchable Hindus and untouchable Hindus are separate. Hinduism is basically Brahminism. That's his perspective. And therefore, if you're not including untouchables into this system, you cannot represent us. That is his viewpoint, that the depressed classes will never be represented properly by caste Hindus. So if you are saying that Muslims can't be represented by caste Hindus and Sikhs can't be represented by caste Hindus and caste Hindus, therefore depressed classes cannot be represented by caste Hindus. That was his opinion. So he demanded that there should be a separate electorate. Not just that, he wanted it through communal award. So not only did he want separate electorate, separate seats for Dalits, he also wanted a separate electorate. He wanted constituencies to be identified with majority Dalit populations who will have specifically Dalit voters who will choose a Dalit representation in the assembly. Yeah. I know, camera issue, sorry. Okay, pause. Camera थोड़ा थक गया है. एक second. Oi. I know. Camera थोड़ा सा थक गया friends. Camera cannot handle. Okay. Done. Now we can see again. He only wanted separate electorate. He later asked for reserved seats when Gandhi said no to separate electorate. Yeah. So there are layers to this. I'm just giving you like the brief idea of what this whole issue was. Okay. Right. So that happens. Now British government says yes. Oh my God. What? So Ambedkar goes to the first conference and second conference. Gandhi had boycotted it, by the way. The entire Indian freedom movement, struggle, whatever, the people who were leading it, they had boycotted this whole second roundtable conference and first roundtable conference and whatever. And Gandhi was like, nahi jane ka hai. And Ambedkar went there and Ambedkar made his case and he got things done for him and his community. Basically, he got separate electorate for depressed classes in the communal award. Now, this is where Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi comes into the picture, and he... I need to be polite, right, chat? Chat, okay, should I be polite or should I be thoda sa... Because, see, here's the thing. I feel like so far I've been doing a good job of being like okay with Ambedkar. Was anybody offended till now? Till now, is anybody offended or anything? Gandhi ji boliye, because there will be like Congress supporters and all the things and things. Okay. Then, okay, being real. Anju is saying be real. Everybody is like being real. We are not bhaks, I guess. No politeness, just factual shit. Okay, cool. Factual shit it is. So, यहाँ पे Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was very upset. You know why? Because he said that Ambedkar is trying to divide the Hindus. And he threw a fit. Like, I mean, there is no other way to say it. He did throw a fit. And Ambedkar and Gandhi started a war. An intellectual war, albeit, but a war nonetheless. Oh wait, is this what is happening still? यही पे वही हो रहा है I think यहाँ पे एक second. Oh look, same thing is happening.
डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट के आदेश से मंदिर के चारों दरवाजे बंद कर दिए गए हैं. कदम उठाने वाले.
Oh no, मंदिर का चालू है. Not Yerwada jail yet. There is a scene with Gandhi also in this. Anyway, so basically, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi throws a fit. He says ki this is not to be done. You cannot divide the Hindus like this. He's like, depressed classes should not get electorates and special seats because तुम British लोग Hindus को divide करना चाहते हो. And that created a big rift between Ambedkar and Gandhi. Now, Gandhi was like, British people, to the Brits, they were like, take it back. Gandhi is like, take it back. Do not give seats to the depressed classes. And British is like, but we heard out Mr. Ambedkar, Dr. Ambedkar in both the conference, which you didn't attend, by the way. But you didn't make a case. He made a case, and now we thought it's a good idea, so we're giving it. And he's like, no, I will fast on to death. पढ़ना है क्या लेटर? Sounds very weird, but पढ़ने का है. रुक जाओ. Where is the letter? Is this the one? Yeah. This is the one. So this is a letter to Ramsay MacDonald, okay, by by M.K. Gandhi. Famous letters of Mahatma Gandhi. Year is 1932, August 18th. I regret the decision that I have taken, but as a man of religion that I hold myself to be, I have no other course left to me. As I have said in my letter to Sir Samuel Hoare, even if His Majesty's government decided to release me in order to save themselves embarrassment, my fast will have to continue. For I cannot now hope to resist the decision by any other means. And I have no desire whatsoever to compass my release by any means other than honorable. It may be that my judgment is warped and I am wholly in error in regarding separate electorates for depressed classes as harmful to them or Hinduism. If so, I am not likely to be in the right with references to other parts of my philosophy of life. Matlab, gaslighting. I had to say it. I had to say it. It just does sound like a little bit of gaslighting, guys. In that case, my death by fasting will be at once a penance for my error and a lifting of a weight off from those numberless men and women who have a childlike faith in my wisdom. I cannot. Whereas, if my judgment is right, as I have little doubt it is, the contemplated step is but a due fulfillment of the scheme of life, which I have tried for more than a quarter of a century with apparently not without considerable success. Oh my god, dude. Sir Gandhi, sir. थोड़ा सा I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Should I translate this into 2024 language a little bit? Chat, if you want, say hi. I will do the decision. I'll do the translation. I remember reading Hind Swaraj of Gandhi. I died laughing. Couldn't understand? Okay, fair enough. Gen Alpha language. Yeah, so what? You said don't judge them by today's standards. Oh, yeah, of course. Again, dude, it is my opinion. I feel like this sounds a bit gaslighty and a little bit थोड़ा सा tantrum वाला feel आ रहा था, sir. I don't know. Like in very good English, this looks like a tantrum. I'll leave it up to you. Your opinion versus my opinion. I feel थोड़ा सा Okay, so basic language mein what is happening here is that he is a man of religion and he has no option left but to starve to death until he gets what he wants. he has written to His Highness, His Majesty's government, and etc. And basically saying that if you want to save yourself from some embarrassment, then you better listen to me because I'ma die otherwise, right? And then my fast will have to continue if you don't listen to me, by the way. Essentially, he's saying that if, for example, I am wrong, which I doubt I am, he says that also. If I am wrong and my judgment is off and warped a little bit, and it is harmful for Hinduism and all the people, then I am wrong about my entire philosophy of my life. All of it. In that case, if that be the case, which means he's wrong, in that case, my death by fasting will be at once penance for my... Basically, he's saying that, okay, if you think I'm wrong, then maybe I should just die, right? Then I should just die. And then the people who have such a childlike faith on my wisdom will curse you. You will be so embarrassed, right? Because they have such faith in me, and I must just die then, right? Oh, actually, do you want Gandhi to die? Do you want Gandhi to die, Britishers? So don't do this. It's easy. Save yourself some embarrassment and listen to me. Otherwise, fast on to death. Okay? That's what he said. I just translated it into more understandable language. Okay, so this happened, and then the British were like, bhai. Literally, like, the British were like, guys, please, what do we do now? You guys sort it out amongst yourself. You just talk to each other. That's what the British said. The Prime Minister से लेके everybody was like, यार ठीक है यार, तुम देखो, तुम बात करो एक दूसरे से. So Gandhi first refused to meet Ambedkar. Then they finally decided to meet Ambedkar. By the way, there were some nasty letter exchange and editorial sniping happening during this time also, where Ambedkar called Gandhi a fraud, and Gandhi was like, he's a fraud, and like a lot of like quote tweeting was happening during that time between those two. Then finally, Ambedkar was kind of pushed by the Gandhi bhakts to finally meet Gandhi. And Gandhi during that time was in Yerwada jail of Poona because he was trying to start the non-cooperation movement 2.0. I think, yeah, that was the time, 1932. Yeah. Second round of his Satyagraha and unshoning. So he was going to start that. So when he came back to India from Britain, after he went to Britain to be around the second conference. He didn't attend it, but he was there. Very weird. I don't know what was happening during that time, okay? It's bizarre. So anyway, he comes back, he's put in Yerwada jail, and now Ambedkar, oh, ye aa gaya, dekho.
पता चला है कि आपको शिकायत है मुझसे और कांग्रेस से मैं
Okay, we are going to watch
उनके
this.
असर से बचे रहना.
Yeah, chat. We are going to watch the encounter with Gandhi. Right on time.
वो भगवान नहीं है. हम अपनी बात पर कायम रहेंगे.
नमस्ते.
नमस्ते.
बाबूजी छत पर हैं. नमस्ते. आइए. नमस्ते.
कहाँ तक सीखा चरखा चलाना मेरा बहन?
मैं कोशिश कर रही हूँ बाबू.
गुड. तुम बिल्कुल सही काट रही हो. ध्यान दोगी, लगन के साथ करोगी, तो एक दिन तुम निपुण हो जाओगी. बिल्कुल सही. गुड गुड, दैट इज राइट.
बाबूजी. डॉक्टर आंबेडकर आ गए.
हाँ. डॉक्टर आंबेडकर, आप मुझसे मिलना चाहते थे?
गांधी जी, आपने ही मुझे चिट्ठी भेजकर बुलाया था.
हाँ. याद आया.
Oh, these movie makers are totally like, I think from my perspective that was that was just such like वो आपने भी Oh yeah, Killa, sorry. We will play the BBC clip also. Guys, this is going to go on for a while. Don't worry, हाँ लंबा चलने वाला है थोड़ा सा. आज हम अच्छे से करके जाएंगे.
पता चला है कि आपको शिकायत है मुझसे और कांग्रेस से। मैं आपको बता दूं, अछूतों की समस्या को लेकर मैं चिंतित रहा हूं मेरे बचपन से। तब आप पैदा भी नहीं हुए थे डॉक्टर अंबेडकर। मेरे प्रयासों से ये बात कांग्रेस के मंच पर भी उठाई गई, और यही नहीं, हमने 20 लाख रुपए भी दिए हैं अछूतों के जीवन सुधार के लिए। आश्चर्य की बात है कि आप जैसा व्यक्ति कैसे विरोध कर सकता है मेरा और कांग्रेस का।
असल में कांग्रेस ने इस समस्या को समझने का सिर्फ दिखावा किया है, दांभिकता भरे झूठे और खोखले आश्वासन देकर।
Sorry, this one narrative which you are seeing right now, which is आप मेरा और कांग्रेस का विरोध कर रहे हो, आप मेरा और कांग्रेस का विरोध कर रहे हो, that whole thing will come back later during the Hindu Code bill after independence. I'll tell you later.
आपने कहा कि कांग्रेस ने 20 लाख खर्च की। मैं कहता हूं कि व्यर्थ खर्च की। अगर कांग्रेस अपना दायित्व समझती है तो कांग्रेस का सदस्य बनने की शर्त होनी चाहिए छुआछूत ना मानना, ना कि खादी पहनना। आप कहते हैं कि ब्रिटिशों के मन में हमारे लिए कोई बदलाव नहीं आया। मैं ये पूछता हूं कि हिंदुओं के मन में भी कहां बदलाव आया है हमारे लिए? जब तक वो अड़ियल बने रहेंगे तब तक हम विश्वास नहीं करेंगे हिंदुओं पर, कांग्रेस पर या किसी महात्मा पर।
True story. I mean, at least from his words, refused to call him Mahatma, by the way. Ambedkar, steadfastly.
इतिहास साक्षी है कि महात्मा हवा के झोंके जैसे होते हैं, जो धूल तो उड़ाते हैं लेकिन ठोस कुछ नहीं करते। गांधी जी मेरी कोई मातृभूमि नहीं,
लेकिन ये सारा देश आपकी मातृभूमि है डॉक्टर अंबेडकर। और जहां तक राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस के बारे में मैंने पढ़ा, उससे यह साबित होता है कि आप एक सच्चे और निष्ठावान देशभक्त हो।
इसे मैं अपनी मातृभूमि कैसे कह सकता हूं जहां कुत्ते बिल्लियों जैसा सलूक होता है हमारे साथ? हम लोगों के साथ जो बर्ताव होता है वो इतना असहनीय है कि अगर हम कभी निष्ठावान न रह पाए तो दोष इस मिट्टी का होगा, ना कि हमारा। कांग्रेसियों ने हमारे आंदोलन का विरोध किया, देशद्रोही कहा, और आप मुझे देशभक्त कह रहे हैं। मेरा मानना है कि मैं अपने लोगों के बुनियादी हकों की रक्षा के लिए लड़ रहा हूं, इस भूमि को बिना कोई नुकसान पहुंचाए। आप मुझे देशद्रोही कहें या देशभक्त, मुझे इसकी कतई परवाह नहीं।
तो आपकी हम
During this time, of course, Gandhi had reached that stature of deification, where everybody was like, oh my god, Gandhi ji जो बोलते हैं वो सही होता है. All the Congress, everyone was just following him. Ambedkar was one of the few people who was constantly countering him. And I feel like the dialogues in this movie some of them are directly taken from some of the editorials he wrote during that time. Like for example, this thing about महात्मा तो हवा के झोंके की तरह होते हैं जो ऐसे उड़ के चले जाते हैं. That he had written somewhere in some editorial somewhere. I had read something similar to this which was there.
हमसे क्या अपेक्षा है डॉक्टर?
आपने मुसलमानों और सिखों को राजनीतिक अधिकार देने की बात मान ली, जो कि राजनीतिक और आर्थिक रूप से अछूतों से ज्यादा आत्मनिर्भर है. गोलमेज परिषद ने अछूतों के लिए इसी तरह के राजनीतिक अधिकारों की सिफारिश की है. आपका क्या विचार है?
मैं राजनीतिक आधार पर हिंदुओं और अछूतों में बंटवारे के खिलाफ हूँ. यह सरासर आत्मघाती निर्णय होगा.
आपके स्पष्ट मत के लिए आभारी हूँ. हमें पता चल गया कि इस संघर्ष में हम लोग कहाँ खड़े हैं. अब मैं इजाजत चाहूंगा गांधी जी.
इतना असंयम? महादेव भाई.
जी बापू.
उन्होंने ऐसा क्यों कहा कि उनकी कोई मातृभूमि नहीं?
शायद महार होने के नाते ऐसा सोचते हो.
डॉक्टर अंबेडकर क्या महार है?
सारी दुनिया जानती है बापू.
सारी दुनिया.
Okay, no, I'm not so sure. I guess he will know that he's a Mahar. I mean, if he didn't during that time, that would be really weird. I'm not sure.
दुनिया जानती होगी पर मैं नहीं. मुझे किसी ने क्यों नहीं बताया उनके बारे में?
Wait, he didn't know? Seriously? Like, exactly. There is no way he would have not known, right? I mean, that's a bit. Yeah. Is there a record of this that he didn't know?
मुझे लगा वे तो पुरोगामी ब्राह्मण हैं पूना के।
What? Okay, no. I'm not. थोड़ा ड्रामेटाइजेशन है इस मूवी में.
मिस्टर गांधी आज गोलमेज परिषद में हिस्सा लेने के लिए लंदन रवाना हो गए। उन्होंने
Yeah, so yeah, that happened. Also, friends, we are going to listen to his Poona interview later. That one based line that Ambedkar gives during that interview. वो आएगा. Okay. Okay, chat है बहुत है अभी थोड़ा बहुत because अभी तो okay. I think Poona Pact wala chapter is closed a little bit, but essentially what happened in Poona Pact is that Gandhi disagreed for separate electorate. He was like, nahi karna hai, and then they reached a compromise where they basically came up with this, which is they have agreed to give depressed classes and rest of community representation in the legislatures and certain other matters affecting their welfare. So essentially, Ambedkar had his way, and they kind of reached like a formula to sort of do it properly. Essentially, the difference is they didn't have like special electorate anymore, but it was kind of sort of sorted, selected leadership. So they had identified how many were there total? 148 seats, I think. Yeah, total of this 148. Yeah, they had identified 148 seats where what will happen is that the depressed classes will first have their primary election, where they will have at least like a few candidates and they will select the best person from there. Then this best person would then fight the normal elections, and then all the population will vote for that person, right? That was the idea there. And the normal people, the normal nahi bolna chahiye, the general population and Dalits and other religions will also vote in this pool, right? That was the general compromise that they came up with. Ambedkar was okay with it. It was a compromise. He's the one who suggested it and he kind of got it. So this is the first signs of reserved seats. Oh, actually, wasn't it the king of Travancore who also did this? I feel like. Oh yeah, इधर लिखा भी है, of course. Okay. Now, 1935, Ambedkar goes extreme. Like this is where I think after the Gandhi meeting, something shifted. I feel like something shifted because his writing after that has gone extreme. This is where he starts like thinking about riddles of Hinduism. This is where he starts thinking about proper social reform. And this is where he decides to renounce Hinduism completely, right? He basically says that Hinduism is essentially Brahminism and there is a lot of caste discrimination in it. And the Government of India Act, which included provisions for Dalit political representation due to Ambedkar's effort, it was enacted. But at the same time, he feels like there is no chance of social reform happening unless Hinduism is reformed, which is, that's why he's leaving. He's like, I don't wanna. There was this interesting thing he wrote, which I will read out. It is time for echo. Ambedkar, with a rise in his voice, exhorted them to sever their connections with Hinduism and seek solace and self-respect in another religion, but warned them to be very careful in choosing the new faith and to see the equality of treatment, status, and opportunities was guaranteed to them unreservedly. Dr. Ambedkar said that unfortunately for him, he was born a Hindu untouchable. I solemnly assure you that I will not die a Hindu. So he might be born as a Hindu. He's not going to die as a Hindu though. So basically, he essentially gave a speech after he renounced Hinduism and after the Gandhi drama. So then he was like, I'm not gonna die a Hindu, and you guys decide, you choose a religion. Now this is during this time he started exploring other religions, by the way, and he also went to Sikhism. वो भी है, वो बाद में आएगा. Now 1936 he was planning to give a speech called the Annihilation of Caste at the Jat Path Todak Mandal. The Mandal withdrew its invitation, realizing the nature of his speech. Again, they thought that it is too extreme, it is too revolutionary, so we will not let him talk. So he turned it into a book. And that is where we get Annihilation of Caste from. Annihilation of Caste is basically a speech he was supposed to give, turned into a book. So it's not big. Guys, if you haven't read it, please do read it. Please do read it. It will change you, to put it mildly. It will change you. In brief, if you want me to review, just jaldi se, I'll just tell you what Annihilation of Caste is about. I had to reread bits of it, and then I've made some notes around it. So forgive me if I've missed something, but I'm trying. So number one, the three most necessary and critical are social reform, political reform, and economic reform. Social reform, Ambedkar insisted, is the true key to demolishing the caste system. Without social reform, there can be no political reform or economic reform. Okay. Caste system directly causes, number two, caste system directly causes the social breakdown of Hindu society by pitting different groups against one another in their own kind of class warfare, where individual Hindus are set at odds with others purely on account of their birth caste, birth caste that they belong to. So the thing that Gandhi was saying essentially, which was that by giving different reserved seats to depressed classes, you're dividing Hindu society. Ambedkar argued that Hindu society is already divided, good sir. Can't you see? It is already divided. Dalits are not given their rights. And caste system is pitting Hindus against each other, and it is not possible to unite the Hindus unless there is social reform, which is annihilation of caste. Now, how do you do it? So Ambedkar says that the real key to such a project is social reform that is brought about by deep and incisive criticism of the Hindu religion. So he said that everything from the Ramayana to Mahabharata to every Veda to everything written by any Brahmin out there should be critically analyzed by society. People should educate themselves and analyze it and then see whether it is applicable to the current society or not. Now, when he's saying current society, he meant 1939. So during that time also, this visionary man was like, देखो तुम ये किताब है वो पढ़ते हो, right? Take the किताब, read it, apply your brain a little bit, critical thinking on it, and everything will collapse. His whole argument was that if you really critically analyze Hindu text, it is A, absurd, and B, it will collapse on itself. And 3, he also believed that the caste system doesn't come out of there. It is a social hierarchy that comes out of, I don't know where. Okay. And on his own part, Ambedkar said that he will do this from the outside, looking in, and he is determined to abandon Hindu religion altogether. That's basically it. If I have covered most of it, please chat. If I have missed something, let me know. You are free to leave a comment. Okay. Part 3. चलने दो ये. Annihilation of caste. Yeah. Then he founds the Independent Labour Party for Workers and Dalit Rights. And Maharaja of Travancore during this time allows temple entry for depressed classes, and he is the first one to do this. So I think there is one thing which is said that he's also he was very inspired by the writings of Dr. Ambedkar and other social reformers during that time. So Maharaja of Travancore is like, I believe there is a book on this. I forget. Manu Pillai, I think, wrote this, right? I think he's written a giant book on that Maharaja of Travancore. He was a very interesting character. Now, 1938, age 47, Ambedkar considers becoming a Sikh, but rejects it. Yeah. So, here's the thing. Oh yeah, Ivory Throne. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Here's the thing. Ambedkar first went to Sikhism. He asked his son Yashwant to spend some time with the Sikh community to find out how it is and how do they work. And then he realized that they have same social hierarchies built in the Sikh religion. So he rejected it. He wanted a religion to adapt. He's like, ye nahi chalega. There's an entire article on this. There are very deep arguments that are made about why Sikhism was rejected by Ambedkar, why he was looking at it in the first place. Lots of reasons, lots of things. You can go deeper into it if you want. Okay, 1939, the age of 48. Congress leaves the government over declaration of war against Germany. In November, Congress basically is like, tata, bye bye, British government. We are not going to be with you anymore. Here is where Jinnah comes up, and he basically celebrates the day of deliverance, and Dr. Ambedkar joined him. Two-nation theory was the one that was being floated around during this time by Jinnah, etc. Dr. Ambedkar was careful to emphasize that, he supported the partition. He did. Again, remember when I told you that Ambedkar was a pragmatist? We come to that again. He was a realist, he was a pragmatist, he had his reasons for supporting the partition. Primarily, his whole thing was that, he spoke about it later also actually, which was that India, if you know, wait, kahan pe? Ek maine quote bhi dala tha. Sorry. I'm just trying to recall which was the argument he gave later and now. अच्छा okay, I'll just refer to this. एक quote था, मैंने डाला था. Wait. So, Ambedkar, even though he basically said that he supports the two-nation theory and wants partition, he said that this was an anti-Congress rather than an anti-Hindu move. If Congress interpreted it as anti-Hindu, the reason could only be, he said, that Congress was a Hindu body after all. See that thing that was there. Now this is the quote. Wherever there is any conflict of interest between the country and the untouchables, so far as I am concerned, the untouchables' interest will take precedence over the interests of the country. I am not going to support a tyrannizing majority simply because it happens to speak in the name of the country. As between the country and myself, the country will have precedence. As between the country and the depressed classes will have precedence. So, being a realist, he was like, listen, if Muslims want like a separate thing to happen, like separate country to happen, give it to them. Because honestly, the Hindu religion itself is so divided, and they're already not caring about the depressed classes and reservation ke bare mein to dekh hi liya tumne. So, I'm going to care about my people, they will care about their people, same to same. Same logic. All realists. They care about their people, I care about my people. This quote is radical because honestly he said that if there is a conflict of interest between the country and the untouchables, he will side with the untouchables. This is the same logic that Jinnah had used when doing the partition. Unity of country versus interests of Muslims. Jinnah was like, of course, interest of Muslims first. Pakistan. Okay. Now he publishes an entire book because he got a lot of criticism, obviously, from all sorts of places. Especially, he was called anti-Congress. No, he was called anti-Hindu because he said these things. Mainly Congress, etc., started demonizing him and calling him anti-Hindu. And that is when he clarified, saying that no, if you are saying this is an anti-Congress move, and also if you are saying that this is anti-Hindu, it only proves that Congress is a Hindu party. Poof! Bah! Basically, Ambedkar during that time, 1940s में, said that Congress is a Hindu party. And it had Gandhi in it. I mean, seriously, what? Okay. Now he publishes this amazing book called Thoughts on Pakistan. This is the book. Look at this. Pakistan. Of the many books on the subject, there is none which has either the breadth or the depth which this has. Or the Indian political what's what. The Partition of India by B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar, a master in his own very vigorous and individual fashion of English language, he is the most exhilarating polemist, utterly fearless, with a wide command of the unexpected and devastating illustration, historical or otherwise, and his energy flies so swiftly that it produces by the way most effective results. If anything by Ambedkar comes your way, read it and you will understand why he often makes unorthodox Hindus hopping mad. Sorry, Orthodox Hindus, my bad. Orthodox Hindus hopping mad. He is one of the dozen most astonishing men in India. Fair. This is by Edward Thompson, by the way. Pakistan or Partition of India by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. More brain, O Lord, more brain, or we shall mar utterly this fair garden we might win. Anyway, there is like a giant book that he wrote on why the demand is legitimate. Okay, I haven't read this completely. I tried reading bits and pieces of it. This is a whole video on itself, right? What was it that Ambedkar supported? Why did he support Jinnah? What was the partition according to him? All the things. I gave you a gist of it. There are way more nuances to this, which you can read. There he talks about like geographical issues, economic issues, makes like all sorts of arguments. Basically, a man wrote another PhD thesis on the partition also. So, have fun. But in December, Dr. Ambedkar published the first edition of Thoughts on Pakistan. In this work, he argued that though Pakistan would be an unfortunate thing, it wouldn't be the worst possible outcome. And if the Muslims wanted it, they had the perfect right to claim it. एक बहुत लंबा सा मैंने एक यहाँ पे explanation डाल के रखा है about why he did it. Chat, if you want me to, I can go through it. 1942, age of 51, where ILP reforms into the Scheduled Caste Federation, a party focused on Dalit issues. Now it is a proper political party. Yeah. Dr. Ambedkar was inducted into the Viceroy's Executive Council as Labour Minister. Quit India movement begins. You want me to? Okay. Fair enough. All right. So why did Ambedkar think that Pakistan has the perfect right to claim Pakistan? Jinnah had the perfect right to claim Pakistan. It should be a separate country. That's what I tried to find out, and I found this. As a realist, Ambedkar was suspicious about the loyalty of those Muslims who were infected by communal antagonism and the two-nation theory in the army of a free and united India. In case of invasion by a foreign power, especially the co-religionists to the Muslims of India, whose side would the Muslims in the army who believed in the two-nation theory take? In defense of India or with the invaders? Disclaimer again, this is 1942, 1941, 1942. So during that time, partition and Hindu-Muslim sort of feelings, communal feelings were at an all-time high. Okay, so he was questioning the loyalty of Muslims who are in the Indian army or the army as it was during that time. He was like, if they believe in the two-nation theory and they're like, nee, that is our country, so why are we protecting this one? That was a very, very giant worry that he had because again repeating, pragmatist. This was a critical question for Dr. Ambedkar. To answer this, he argued that if Muslims got infused with the two-nation theory, which was the foundation of Pakistan, then the army in India cannot be safe. In such circumstances, the army itself would be a potential threat to the independence of India. To that end, he claimed that the Indians would be able to defend a free India when the army in India remains non-political and unaffected by the poison of the idea of Pakistan, born of the notion of two nations. The fact of military rule in Pakistan soon after 1947 makes such a deduction prescient. Man again was quite a visionary. He basically said that the Muslims during that time who genuinely believe and are infected by the two-nation theory should be given Pakistan because they have their own thing going on. They will make their own army, they will have their own rules, religious rules, whatever, and they will do their own thing. So let them. If we want a united India here, the people need to believe in the country as a concept and as together we are India and all the things. Only those people should stay here. So Jinnah had already released the beast, right? And Ambedkar was like, sure, I mean, we are also asking for like rights for Dalits separately from the Hindus. So Muslims should also ask for it, Christians should ask for it, Sikhs should ask for it. He was like, हाँ chill है, मतलब like you guys ask for, do your thing. But his whole thing was that is why there should be a separate country because the loyalty of the army is a big question. And because after Pakistan was formed and the way they turns out, probably B.R. Ambedkar was right. Now, having said that, again repeating, this was in 1942, 1943. Partition did happen after that and it was horrifying. Doesn't take away from the horrifying. The horrifying did happen. Thousands and thousands of people lost their lives because of this nonsense, which everybody was doing. And the British basically took a map, they took a pencil and they went like, bleh, partition. Now two countries. Bleh. There is a border passing from between two villages now. Two towns, one town now divided into two. So basically the Brits are to blame. If anybody, the Brits are to blame also. Okay. So yeah. Atrocities in Bangladesh also, of course, East Bengal. Also, Ambedkar also kept talking about East Bengal. Even in the Constituent Assembly debates, he mentioned it. Later also, while resigning also, he's like, कि नेहरू तू East Bengal के बारे में कुछ कर ही नहीं रहा है. Also, he did not like Nehru also, by the way, just saying. It will come to that. The two armies have all followed entirely different trajectories. In the way foreseen by Dr. Ambedkar, he preferred absolute exchange of population between India and Pakistan once partition took place. Now, the thing is, he preferred absolute partition and exchange of populations, but didn't go as planned, to put it mildly. Okay. Now, He wrote Congress and Gandhi have what Congress and Gandhi have done to the untouchables. This is a book which is very brutal. You can read it. It's a little brutal. I've read parts of it. This is I read some other PDF version of this a long time ago. Someone was like, "तेरे को पता है? तेरे को पता है?" What was going on between Ambedkar and Gandhi? Take 1946. Now we are coming close to independence. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's Constituent Assembly speech on December 17th, formation of the Constituent Assembly. Yeah. I'm not going to play this one. We will go to the next parts. Again, Constituent Assembly will require an entirely different thing. Not going too deep into it, except for a few little bit things here and there. Okay. Primarily, I wanted to show you this, right? He was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution in 1947. Data. This is vital stats analysis of the Constituent Assembly debates by PRS. Okay. So, happened from December 9th till November 26, 1949, right? It gives you what they were doing from that duration to duration. First reading, second reading, third reading. Assembly discussed text of Constitution for 101 days. Assembly met for a total of 165 days between 1946 and 1950, right? Preliminary stage 46, then first reading 5, second reading 101, third reading 13. Words spoken. Now this is what I wanted to show you. 14% of clause by clause discussion was on fundamental rights. Citizenship 2%, fundamental rights 14%, directive principles 4%. Right. 6 members spoke more than 1 lakh words. Total number of words that were spoken during this was some 35 lakh, out of which the one who spoke the most, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, 2.6 lakh words. Next one, T.T. Krishnamachari, 97,000 words. Look at the difference. Man was very active. what a Chad, seriously. What a guy. I mean, that's why the people call him the architect of the Constitution, and how literally man has shaped this country, guys. Not kidding. He has. It's just there, right there in your face. So, KM Munshi, 60,000, all the things, yeah. Assembly members, this is drafting committee members, by the way. Assembly members, 1,88,000. See, he spoke more than H.V. Kamath, Naziruddin Ahmed, K.T. Shah, Thakurdas Bhargav. Jawaharlal Nehru spoke 73,000 words, by the way. Someone was asking. Then there were women members altogether contributed to 2% of the discussion. G. Durgabai spoke the most, 22,000 words. So basically, थोड़ा यहाँ पे mansplaining चल रहा था, friends. थोड़ा सा heavy on the manliness. Just saying. The Constituent Assembly was just, yeah. 15 women were a part of the assembly, out of which 10 participated in debates. They contributed 2% of the discussions in the assembly. Highest participation was made by G. Durgabai. She spoke extensively on the judiciary during the debates. Members from provinces contributed 85% to the assembly debates. Constituent Assembly had 210 members elected from provinces and 64 members nominated by the princely states. Members elected by the provinces contributed to 85% of the discussion. On average, each member from provinces spoke 14,000 words. Insane. So yeah, fun, vital stats. That is all I'm going to do for the Constituent Assembly debates. Okay, nothing else. ये खत्म हो गया क्या part 3 भी? पार्ट 3 चल रहा था ना हमारा, चल रहा है साइड में। अरे गांधी जी को पानी पिला रहे। नो 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 नो, म्यूजिक म्यूजिक म्यूजिक, सॉरी।
हमेशा बसा रहूंगा।
डॉक्टर अंबेडकर, मैं आपका और आपके साथियों का समर्थन चाहता हूँ सुब्बरायन और अय्यंगार मंदिर प्रवेश के बिल पर।
मान लीजिए मैं मंदिर प्रवेश बिल को स्वीकार कर लूं।
So a large portion of this movie is basically dedicated to Gandhi and Ambedkar. Huh? Their tete-a-tete.
लेकिन चातुर्वर्ण और जाति प्रथा के विरुद्ध संघर्ष करूं, आप कौन सा पक्ष लेंगे? और अगर मैं चातुर्वर्ण को स्वीकार कर लूं, तो आपकी उसको लेकर क्या व्याख्या होगी? ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य और शूद्र, या इसका उल्टा, सबसे ऊपर शूद्र।
डॉक्टर अंबेडकर, मैं एक हिंदू हूं इसलिए नहीं कि मैंने हिंदू के घर जन्म लिया, बल्कि इसलिए ये मेरी इच्छा है और विश्वास है। कोई ऊंच नीच नहीं है, छोटा बड़ा नहीं है हिंदू धर्म में जिसका मैं आचरण करता हूं। लेकिन अगर आपका झगड़ा वर्ण व्यवस्था से है, तो फिर मैं नहीं हूं आपके पक्ष में, क्योंकि मेरी यह दृढ़ आस्था है कि वर्णाश्रम हिंदू धर्म का एक महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा है।
Oh my God, no, 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 Gandhi, no, just रहने दो यार, no, no, no. 1948, he was 57. Presents first draft of Indian Constitution and also does a second marriage with Dr. Sharda Kabir. Now, Dr. Sharda Kabir, essentially, he was not doing very well health-wise. He was looking for a caretaker/nurse, and he met Dr. Sharda Kabir, and they fell in love, and she became more than a caretaker, and she was a big admirer of Dr. Ambedkar, so basically he married her. This was his second marriage at the age of 57. Now, 50 to 51. He was the first law minister of India. Now, Nehru invited him to become law minister of India, which was thought to be very strange during that time because he was in the opposition. He's like, अरे opposition वालों को कैसे तुम minister बना रहे? And Ambedkar was not a part of the Congress. He was in the opposition, and Nehru invited him to be law minister. But Ambedkar says in his resignation speech that was a symbolic move made by by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru because the law ministry had no functions. Yeah. He's like, we used to, when the British law ministry was there, he used to be in the administration, and they used to make fun of the law ministry, saying that they do nothing there. There is nothing that happens there. So he asked Nehru, after he became minister, to give him the PWD department also and the planning department. Nehru said that, okay, we will turn this into a law and planning ministry, but the planning part never came. So what his complaint was that he was just symbolically a part of the government and never really trusted anybody in the cabinet. He had immense amount of differences with people within the cabinet also. Second reason, he resigned, by the way, in 1951, like an year and a few months later. He's like, mere ko nahi karne ka hai. And he gave reasons. One was this. The second was that he believed that Nehru had completely messed up foreign policy. Repeating it. Babasaheb Ambedkar believed that Nehru messed up foreign policy. His logic was that when British left, right, we were all hunky-dory. Like, I mean, we had friends, countries were friendly, etc. But in 4 years of getting independence and etc., no country wants to talk to us. We have been left to fend for ourselves. The United Nations is also not responding properly. So there is something happening there. They don't care about us. So his thing was that one of the things that we have done is that East Bengal and Pakistan, we have created enemies. Niche south mein bhi enemies ban rahe hai, and we are spending a lot of money on defense. His thing was, we are spending entirely too much money on maintaining an army. In fact, for a new nation, more money should be spent on social welfare. And also, making sure that the depressed classes and the downtrodden and the poor are serviced properly by the government. Nehru was too interested in foreign policy and he was not doing a great job at it. That was one of the reasons, right? Okay. And the final reason he gives for not being the law minister, he said that the Hindu Code Bill was promised when we got independence. The Hindu Code Bill reforms Hinduism as we know it, and basically does reforms in marriage, property laws, inheritance, a bunch of things, right? Now, Ambedkar's idea was that Hindu code needs to be there because that is the only way to destroy caste. Is if you want a reform, and the Hindu code would be one such reform which should be pushed forward, and it should be, it's not exactly universal civil code, but universal civil code does draw some inspiration from the Hindu code. So Ambedkar was of the opinion that Hinduism needs massive reform, social reform, and the Hindu code would be the way to do it. Nehru had promised him, again promised everyone, that Hindu code would happen. After becoming law minister, he had tried to bring in the bill multiple times. And for some reason or the other, either the cabinet was scuttling it, or the ministry was scuttling it, or the parliament started scuttling it, or something was happening there, which Ambedkar has spoken about in great details in his last speech. If you read it, he's like, ye date pe ye hua tha, ye date pe hua thi, ye date pe hua tha, ye date pe ye hua tha. Again, lawyer, genius, prodigy guy is making a case and he's like, therefore I hate this. Like, okay. So he's like, you did not pass the Hindu code. We have been betrayed. Dalits have been betrayed. Backward classes have been betrayed. There is no movement towards social reform. There is no movement towards reforming Hindus and the society at large. So therefore, bye-bye, I resign. And he left. He left government. He was the first law minister and he just resigned. And he was extremely disappointed with the Nehru government. Okay. 1952, 61, at the age of 61, he was elected to the Rajya Sabha and he continued to advocate for Dalit rights and social reforms. So that continued. In 1954, his health started deteriorating massively due to diabetes and poor eyesight. Again, during that time, diabetes led to a lot of things, not like today. Diabetes was a massive thing. 1955, at the age of 64, he founds the Buddhist Society of India and begins actively promoting Buddhism as a means to escape caste system. So between 1952 and 55, he was also traveling a lot. I think he went to Myanmar and Bhutan and he was learning more and more about Buddhism. Because again, remember when he rejected Sikhism, he was constantly in search for a faith which he can follow, which does not have this hierarchical system. And he basically finally settled on Buddhism. Now, 1956, at the age of 65, big event happens, October 14th in Nagpur. He converts to Buddhism along with some, how many? 10,000, I believe, was the number I was told last. 10,000 followers. 10,000 Dalits and Dr. Ambedkar convert to Buddhism. This is called the Dhamma Chakra Parivartan. It still happens. If you go to Nagpur on Dasera, which will happen now, yeah, it's almost time for the Dhamma Chakra Parivartan. If you are from Nagpur, if you are in Nagpur, you will see tons of people going there. There was a time when I used to tell people that the population of Nagpur explodes during this time, which is like 25 to 30% more addition to population for 4 days. Diksha Bhumi, there is a large number of people who come from all over the country, DBA people, and then they pay their respects to Dr. Ambedkar, the giga chad that he is, the amazing person that he is, and also some of them convert to Buddhism. He publishes Buddha and his Dhamma, his work on Buddhist philosophy. That was the last thing he publishes. And then December 6th, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar passes away in his sleep. They say he passed away peacefully shortly after completing his final work on Buddhism. Yeah. That, my friends, is the life and times of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. One of my favorite bits from here, the end part, is that when they went in to basically see where he lived, the man lived in a library. Like his home was a library. He had one tiny room where he and his wife stayed, and the rest of the house was for his books. It was a house of books. And he was there in a room, poor, hungry, didn't have money, couldn't publish his books. 9 books which he had written remained unpublished because he didn't have money to publish it. And that is how he passed away. Riddles of Hinduism was published posthumously. That he didn't have money at the end of his life. He didn't have books though. He was surrounded by books. Yeah, fun. Okay, now final thing, we are going to listen to BBC News. Now, wait. I know this is the exciting part where our friend Dr. Ambedkar is going to diss the Mahatma. Wait. इन्होंने टाइम कोडिंग करके रखा है शायद. Gandhi's legacy, British Army, I think meeting Gandhi, that's the one.
Once thereafter, he also, after the signing of the Poona Pact, you see, asked me to come and see him. So I went to see him. He was then in jail. You see, but that's all the time that I have met him. But I always say that as I met Mr. Gandhi in the capacity of an opponent, I have a feeling that I know him better than most other people because he had opened his real fangs to me, you see, and I could see the inside of the man. You see, while others who generally went there as devotees, you see, saw nothing of him except the external appearance which he had put up as a Mahatma, you see. But I saw him in his human capacity, the bare man in him. And so I say that I understand him better, you see, than most of the people who have associated themselves with him can say.
So how would you sum up what you found in him?
Well, I must say at the outset that I feel quite surprised, you see, at the interest which the outside world, Western world particularly, seems to be taking in Mr. Gandhi. I cannot understand that. You see. So far as India is concerned, he was, in my judgment, you see, an episode in the history of India.
It totally deserved that. Totally deserved that.
Never an epoch maker. Gandhi has already vanished from the memory of the people in this country. His memory is kept up because the Congress party annually, you see, gives a holiday either on his birthday or some other day connected with some event in his life, and has a celebration every year going on for 7 days in a week. Naturally, people's memory is revived.
Oh, okay.
But if these artificial respirations were not given, I think Gandhi would be long, long forgotten.
You don't feel then that he fundamentally changed the aspect of...
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, he was all the time double dealing. He conducted 2 papers, one in English, the Harijan, you see, and before that, Young India, And in Gujarati, he conducted another paper, you see, which is called the Deenbandhu or something like that. Now, if you read the two papers, you will see how Mr. Gandhi was deceiving the people. In the English paper, he posed himself as an opponent of the caste system and of untouchability, you see, and that he was a Democrat. But if you read a Gujarati magazine, you see, you will see him a most orthodox man. He has been supporting the caste system, the Varnashram Dharma, and all the orthodox dogmas, you see, which have kept India down, you see, all through ages. In fact, somebody ought to write Mr. Gandhi's biography by making a comparative study of the statements made by Mr. Gandhi in his Harijan and the statements made by Mr. Gandhi in this Gujarati paper.
So, take this with a little bit of pinch of salt, by the way. Just saying. Looks like Dr. Ambedkar really did not like Gandhi. He had a lot of bones to pick with him. And also, he thought of him as a bit of a charlatan. And he just what he said earlier, I think was very interesting, which is Gandhi was a chapter in India's life. And if the Congress party did not do his birth anniversary again and again, 7-day celebration after independence as father of nation, etc., then he would have been forgotten. So the Congress needed a symbol and they chose Gandhi. And that is something that has happened. It has, and it is true. Every political party needs symbols. Gandhi was one symbol which the Congress party decided to adapt, and it still continues. All of our school curriculums, all of our history, all of the things that are taught to us, etc., they do sort of deify Gandhi a lot more than they tell you to critically think about what he did. Now, Gandhi as a character was also grey. Ambedkar as a character was also grey, right? But here what we are doing is we are critically thinking about the actions and the words of these people. So it is up to you, it is your opinion and it is my opinion. We are just trying to sort of see what we get out of it, right? So emotional mat hona, friends. Just saying.
There are 7 volumes of it. You see? The people, the Western world only reads, you see, the English paper where Mr. Gandhi, in order to keep himself, you see, in the esteem of the Western people who believe in democracy, was advocating democratic ideals. You see? But you got to see also what he actually taught to the people in his vernacular paper. Nobody seems to have made any reference. All the biographies that have been written of him, you see, are based upon his Harijan, you see, and the young India, but not upon the Gujarati writings of Mr. Gandhi.
Then what were his real intentions with regard to the scheduled castes in the structure?
Well, he only wanted, you see, there are 2 things about the scheduled caste. We want untouchability to be abolished.
You see?
You see? But we also want, you see, that we must be given equal opportunities, you see, so that we may rise to the level of the other classes. Mere washing off of untouchability is of no consequence. We have been carrying on with untouchability for the last 2000 years. Nobody has bothered about it. You see? Nobody has bothered about it. Yes, there are some disabilities which are very harmful. For instance, people can't take water, and people can't have land, you see, to cultivate and earn their livelihood. But the other things which are far more important, you see, namely that they should have the same status, you see, in the country, and that they should have the opportunity to hold high offices, so that not only their dignity will rise, but also they will get what I call strategic positions from which they could protect their own people. Mr. Gandhi was totally opposed. Totally opposed. You see?
He was content with...
So, that was his criticism for Gandhi. The whole interview is worth listening to, by the way. He talks about economy, he talks about untouchability, he talks about trade, commerce, common election, he talks about Gandhi's objections and his solution, essentially. Like the solution that I explained, I got it from there. The electoral thing, etc. The compromise that they reached, that is what he explains in the end. So you can listen to that. So yeah, this is the interview, friends. Yeah, let's see. BBC, please copyright strike mat marna, friend. I don't know. See, you do so much mehnat, friends, one day, and then कोई ना कोई आके कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक मार के सब पैसा ले लेता है तुम्हारा. मेहनत का कुछ यही नहीं है. It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. Friends, how did you like the stream? We are done with the stream. I mean, done with the content of this stream, basically. That just took me 3 hours of continuously talking about Dr. Ambedkar. No big deal. No big deal. It's just one of freaking clock. Apurva, thank you so much, friend. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Please do more such streams. Absolutely. Amazing experience. Oh, very, very happy, very happy. Please, Antsy Woman and others, please thank everyone who has helped. We have 8 nerd friends who helped us with this, and this is amazing. Thank you so much, friendos. Lots of super chat. Oh, wow. Okay. Piyush, thank you so much. Anoop, thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Antsy Woman, thank you. Gandhi did not know until this meeting that Ambedkar was from Mahar community. The movie was right. Meeting. What? Holy shit. Really? Okay. That changes a lot of things. So basically, he was not even aware that he was from a backward caste. Yeah, that changes a lot of things, friends. Thank you, Antsy Woman. Thank you for that. And thank you for your support. Please especially thank Antsy Woman and Aitas and Trish and all the others who worked on this. This document would not have been possible. This deep dive would not have been possible without like nerds just dumping shit on this document first, then refining it, then Antsy Woman and all these people going in and doing ये भी चाहिए वो भी चाहिए वो भी चाहिए वो भी चाहिए. बहुत discussions हुए. That research group, if you see, we have a WhatsApp research group by the way. उस पे 4 दिन के लिए arguments पे arguments चल रहे थे कि oh this is what Gandhi did, or this is what Ambedkar did, this is what he believed in, this is what caste is, this is what Pakistan, this is what Islam. Amazing. I love this. This is the kind of shit I live for, honestly, and which means that I'm going to do more of this. Observation, thank you. Jai Bhim, thank you so much for such a knowledgeable and incredible stream. Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim to you also. Thank you so much. Poison, thank you. Gifted 10 subs. Thank you. Thank you for the 10 subs. And Val, thank you so much. This is what I became a member for. More of this. Absolutely more of this will come. I will do it. I will do it. I promise. I intend to do it. Darth Nayak, thank you so much. Perfect stream to use this one. Great stream. More of these. More power to nerds. Teamwork makes best ever stream. Absolutely. 100%. Now what I'm going to do is that this deep dive doc is about to become public property, friends. Chat, are you ready? Is your bodgy ready? Is your bodgy ready? Viewer, I'm going to enable commenting. Okay, so if you feel like you need to comment, you can. And this is our gift to you, chat, from the nerd army. Take this, go crazy, have fun, read more about Ambedkar, all the things. And now if you're watching this later, I should have said this earlier, you can have this document by the side and go through it yourself. दे रहा हूँ मैं. Here you go. Nerdy deep dive doc. Here you go, friends. Thank you so much, Yash. Thank you for the membership. Thank you, Gurleen. Thank you so much. Jai Bhim, we owe a lot to Babasaheb. Absolutely we do. There are some photos यहाँ पे which have been also shared. Trish insisted that she put some photos here, and I agree. Malvika Raj, Madhubani artist, made this. So nice. Lovely. Dude had style. Yes? Dr. Ambedkar, style. Please pin doc. Okay. I'll put it in the description also, don't worry. Please do a deep dive on Jyotiba and Savitribai Phule. That's a good one. Chat, which one should we do next? Please tell. I'm planning to do at least 2 a month now. Like one of the streams, 2 streams a month would be deep dives. I did one last week, I think, on what was I did on? Oh, One Nation, One Election, of course. One Nation, One Election पे किया था. But on personalities and historical figures, etc., we can do more of this. Jacob, thank you so much. Great stream, thanks for this. Jai Bhim. Jyotibai and Savitribai. Bhagat Singh. Let's do Bhagat Singh. Oh my god, I want to do Bhagat Singh now. Yes. And also Subhash Chandra Bose. I want to do 2 of those. Subhash Chandra Bose and Bhagat Singh. Gandhi will do at some point. Not now. Bhagat Singh, Subhash Chandra Bose, yes. Dudes, Subhash Chandra Bose must be done. Because, should I give radical opinion? Which is actually something that Dr. Ambedkar said in that interview. Okay. Dr. Ambedkar said that the Congress, the credit for the Indian independence should not be given to Gandhi or the Congress. It should be given to Subhash Chandra Bose. You know why? Because the only way the British left, and the only reason that British left, is because they saw Vidroha in their army. And that was all thanks to Subhash Chandra Bose, because he proved that Indians are capable of raising their own army and becoming armed and dangerous. And British were like, no, bye. And then they cut off it. So, according to Dr. Ambedkar, Subhash Chandra Bose, Chad आदमी है. Bose, very mysterious personality. Also, one of the things is Bose tried to ally with Hitler. That also happened. So, grey characters, friends. How did Bose die? Oh my god, that's next level. Bose is a very, very strange and interesting character. Kila, thank you so much for the memberships, friend. Valkyrie, thank you. Was planning to listen to this later. Good stamina. Yes, I'm very happy I was able to pull this off. Actually, I didn't even realize it was 3 hours, honestly. I thought I would be done with it would be done in 1.5, 2 hours. But clearly, bahut baki hai. I still skipped through a few things because there are so many things. Tipsy, thank you. Finally, now I know why my MH registration car is always stopped by G. Jacobs and vice versa. Savage. Yeah, absolutely. I had Ambedkar energy. That's true. I did. Completely out of context, but there is another famous personality from Nagpur, Divya Deshmukh, recent chess Olympiad. Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, wait, she's from Nagpur? That I didn't know. More Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar as a barrister. Oof. Oh yeah, this photo. I love this photo, by the way. Look at this. So there wasn't a seat. I think that's his colleague, and there wasn't a seat, and that's his second wife, by the way. And he just told him to sit on his lap, and he was like sat on his lap. Such a nice photo. Rakhi, thank you for the support, friend. Much appreciated. Very, very appreciated. Have I done all super chats? I think I have. For the next deep dive, Subhash Chandra Bose, pre and post independence Nehru, Savitribai, Jyotiba Phule. Okay, so I agree. Let's do this. Let's keep this in the list. Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, and then Phule's. 3 upcoming. Chat, what do you think? Agreed? Bangalore International Center has photos on post, which is how government recognize Ambedkar and his image is changing across government. There are 1920 viewers who are looking at this document. Very nice. And you can leave comments also, friendos. There is already Ansi woman who has left some comments. There are some sources here which we have been trying to figure out. There is this Fran Pritchett which has all his writings, by the way. Look at this. Francis Pritchett, Columbia University. Ambedkar, his life and work, Columbia's most influential PhD. Yeah. So everything is here. It's all maintained in like simple Unicode, whatever you want to call it. It's a very simple website, but most of the stuff we got from here only. Writings. Hi, later you can do a freedom fighter from South India. Bhartiyar. Oh, yes. Bhartiyar is a good one, actually. Another one can be... who was that guy? First Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. K. Kamraj? No. No. I'm thinking of someone else. Kamraj, right? Periyar. Oh, Periyar. Periyar, to definitely. Periyar, I need to do. Periyar would be intense. Again, like Ambedkar, but I think levels above. I was thinking of Kamraj because I think he's the one who did the first midday meal scheme. Or like he's the inspiration behind it, or he's the one who came up with the general logistical concept of it. And I think that would be an interesting person to do. K. Kamraj, right? Yeah. Periyar, of course, is there. Ambedkar was so much disappointed by our caste system that at some point he asked all Dalits to convert to Buddhism. Only then they will get respect in this country. Saurabh, ये जो quick fact बोला ना आपने, we have spent 40 minutes doing this. Like this literal thing that you said in one line as a quick fact, we just spent 40 minutes doing this. Chat, can I ask for a favor from you, please? In case you have time, can you please do the time coding for this? If you have seen the entire thing and if you are alive by the end of this, because I won't be able to do it that fast. So if you can, I would really appreciate it. If anybody can volunteer, please leave it in the comments. That would be great. I would just copy it and put it in the description tomorrow morning. So yeah, if you can, please do. Again, no compulsion. नहीं तो मैं कल कर लेगा. That's not a problem. Okay. Okay. I do my own timestamps. Don't worry. Yep. But I mean, I'm just saying. Okay. I'm going to go now, friendos. It's been a while. It is almost 1 o'clock. No, it has passed 1 o'clock. This was a good stream. Good stream. Thank you so much for being here. Much appreciated. And Jai Bhim, friends. Jai frickin' Bhim. Yes. Long live the Ambedkars. Bye. Good night.